800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
In Sacramento, a pattern of political corruption, scandals, pay-to-play schemes, and Rudy Salas is cashing in. Rudy Salas backed a plan to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon, costing us more every time we fill up the tank. Salas even voted against temporary gas tax relief for families. His reward? A lavish spring break trip from a group that supports higher gas prices. In another case, Salas took thousands from powerful drug companies and then voted to increase the cost of life-saving drugs cancer patients need. Salas even took a luxury vacation to China. It was paid for by a group that promotes the Chinese Communist agenda. Corruption, scandal, pay to play. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Valadeo for Congress, authorized by David Valadeo.
And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
The Big Fresno Fair is back, October 5th through the 16th, with your favorite fair food carnival rides, live horse racing, and the Table Mountain Concert Series presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota. Buy early and save big. See all the ways to save at FresnoFair.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
Sunny and 89 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. The American Red Cross says a team of 9 volunteers from Central California is now in Florida assisting victims of Hurricane Ian. Governor Gavin Newsom also sending a 5-person team from the State Office of Emergency Services. The hurricane making landfall again in South Carolina, but in Florida, the search for storm victims continues.
Kevin Guthrie is Florida's Emergency Management Director.
That hasty search is just very quick, see if they see any survivors that are alive or in a traumatic situation, and they start to move those individuals to safety. That's been conducted. Now we're back in that primary search area, which is now we're doing a little more detailed search, and then we'll do a second search behind that.
Right now, there are 21 deaths reported in the state, more than 1.9 million power outages. Governor Ron DeSantis called Fort Myers the ground zero of the storm. The Orlando airport's begun its phased reopening. Tampa's will do the same later today. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And if you'd like to help people affected by Hurricane Ian, we have a donation page linked directly to the Red Cross at kmjnow.com. An elementary student facing serious charges for bringing a gun to school in Tulare. Administrators learned about the incident on Thursday, a day after the child brought the gun onto the campus of Alpine Vista School. Police and the school district determined that the child brought the gun to show friends, but there was no indication that the child had any ill intentions. Officers located and seized the weapon from the child's home in Tulare. The DA's office there will determine any appropriate charges. The California State University Board of Trustees releases findings of its investigation into Fresno State and the alleged misconduct by a former vice president.
From 2014 to 2019, Fresno State received 9 complaints of sexual harassment and workplace misconduct claims against the former vice president of Student Affairs, Dr. Frank Lamas. The report from the CSU Board of Trustees says former Fresno State President Dr. Joseph Castro and the university responded appropriately to some complaints, but not all of them, and adds more could have been done. Current Fresno State President Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval released a statement saying the findings of the CSU review will help the university implement new policies to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
The former Fresno State president and CSU chancellor speaks to KMJ about the reports. Dr. Joseph Castro had issued a statement saying he disagreed with several aspects of the investigators' findings, but says he went by the book and it may not have been the best choice in hindsight.
And we must follow those policies just like you would in any organization. And then there are areas where the policy does not apply.
Castro telling KMJ's Ray Appleton the lesson he learned, he would have done things differently and taken the case to court and fought back.
If there's anything that will be good that comes out of this, Ray, because I am a religious person, I'm trying to figure out why this has all happened, it will be that our policies and our structures and our systems are going to be stronger in the CSU to support all women and men who face any kind of harassment.
Personally, Castro says he will continue in education. Fresno City Council firing the city controller for mismanagement of finances during the pandemic. A special session late last night, council voted to terminate Controller Michael Lima, in charge of the financial activities for the past 8 years. He allegedly let scammers bilk the city out of more than $600,000 in 2020. The mayor and council learning of the mistake this year, council ordering an audit into city finances to be completed within the next city days, and Assistant City Manager Ruthie Quinto will act as the interim city controller. A major food company with ties to California settles a major lawsuit. KMJ's Ag Director Don York reports.
Smithfield Foods agrees to pay $75 million to settle a price-fixing lawsuit. Reuters says consumers accuse the meat producer and several competitors of conspiring to inflate prices in the U.S. pork market by limiting supply. A Smithfield spokesperson says the company denies liability in settling and that the accord reduces the distraction, risk, and potential added legal costs. Smithfield is based in Virginia and owned by Hong Kong-listed WH Group, which calls itself the world's largest pork company. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 500 points. Here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Friday forecast.
Warm weather holding steady across the valley. Afternoon highs are in the upper 80s in the North Valley, right around 90 everywhere else. Normal high this time of year is 86 in Fresno, but it's not looking like we'll see those 80s until after next week. Temps are right around 90 through next weekend. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. In Fresno on South Golden State Boulevard at East North, got a semi that is stuck on the train tracks. That's not good. Shaw Avenue near Del Mar, there is an injury accident and some road blockage because of that. Also in Vice City, eastbound 198 at Acres, a couple of vehicles involved in a non-injury accident. Next update is at 2:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
profit. PROFIT. Profit.
To 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria.
From AM Radio 580
to the internet, KMJNow.com.
From Warren G. Harding to
Let's Go Brandon.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Afternoon Drive with Phillip and Skip.
100 years of KMJ.
News, talk, radio.
.208 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Friday installment of Your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free. You can join us at 800-776-5858 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. But for some reason, not Twitter right now, Josh. You might look at that. You can find the show streaming at Drive KMJ. Mr. Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join Skip Echeverria back at the KMJ studios.
Feels like old times being on all the platforms again. Hi, Phillip.
Good afternoon. 25K payoff is in play. We give you a keyword every hour, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When you hear the national keyword, text it to 95819. You could win $100. If you do, you're automatically entered for a shot at winning the $25,000 grand prize drawing. That's why it's called the 25K payoff. It's brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. And by the way, don't text and drive. And if you want contest rules, amongst which I think is if you text and drive, you don't get anything, head over to KMJNow.com. But if you want to play, you got to text the national keyword to 95819. Skip, what is their national keyword?
Your word for the hour is profit, P-R-O-F-I-T, profit. Text that to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Good luck.
All right, a lot coming up this afternoon. We're going to talk about gas prices. We're going to talk about the government shutdown. We're going to talk about Fresno City Council's spending spree. We're going to talk about Ginny Thomas. We're going to talk about Ray's interview with former California State University Chancellor Joseph Castro. And at 5 o'clock tonight, the return of something I'm really excited about this because it's been a long time. One time only. This is not a weekly return. But this afternoon in the 5 o'clock hour, it is the Revenge of the Friday movie topic. Guys, I stumbled into a completely organic and perfect Friday movie topic question. And so tonight, as we get into the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to get you guys into the Friday movie topic to get your weekend started right. But we're not telling anybody what the question is.
No. But I think for a moment there, because like we're back on Facebook Live and on these multiple platforms now, and then you said we're bringing something back. I think everybody collectively clenched and went, oh gosh, does this have something to do with COVID-free Fridays? Like, are we back at what? Anyway, I love this feedback. I hope this is a sign from God that things are going to get better in response to this. What's it? Movie topic Fridays?
Friday movie topic.
Friday movie topic. Okay, I'm new for this.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
The Friday movie topic grew out of something called Fridays with Benefits, and
that's fantastic.
As Commander Bacon, Brandon Shoemaker, exited in the interest of a really fantastic career opportunity. Formerly the executive director of the California Water Alliance, Aubrey Betancourt, became a part of the Fridays, and she is. That woman is a repository of all things classic Hollywood, and it worked really, really well. And then Chris left, so we stopped doing it. But I enjoyed it. I don't want to do it every Friday, but we're going to do it today.
Start to reclaim some things you were a part of now that there's enough distance.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good time. I also, when we get into this about Fresno, the city of Fresno spending a whole lot of money, I just want to give the round of applause to the live coverage that went over 12 hours of that Fresno City Hall meeting yesterday. And then the pictures that were going back and forth, like there's a picture with Mayor Dyer in the middle and Arias on one side with colorful socks, and then Bredefeld on the other side, and everybody's like group hugging. And like they were tweeting that forward and, you know, teasing each other about socks and spending and whatnot. I was like, look at this big old happy, dysfunctional, functional family after 12 hours. Like maybe they spent so much time together, they got delusional and started liking each other.
Everybody got a little punchy at the 10-hour mark.
Yeah, exactly. Because it went over 12 hours last night. That's right. Fresno City Council has stamina.
I can't imagine, unless there was an agenda item in which I had like an immediate stake, I can't imagine sitting through an entire city council meeting under any circumstances. A 12-hour workday for the Fresno City Council, I'd be I'd be like, forget it. I abdicate.
I hope they all went to like Denny's afterwards. Like after a hard night at the club, everybody just went to the Denny's at Shields and Blackstone or something. But seriously, they earned their money last night, yesterday, and into today. Then they spent a lot of it. Like 12 hours. Do we have to pay them overtime? It was over 8 hours?
No, they're salaried. Well, all the staffers that are hourly got paid OT, but no, the city council members just. Anyways, we'll get into this Fresno City Council spending spree later. It happened again last night. Gas prices bounced.
Dude, I'm calling shenanigans on this nonsense. And the reason, because of the gas mixture, the summer blend. Have we not been on the summer blend the whole time?
Well, that's part of why we're the only state still using summer blend.
Okay, I understand, but it went up and we haven't changed what we've been using.
But a bad thing happened in Florida and is now happening in North Carolina. And despite the fact that it's logistically impossible that gasoline to or from either of those states got in or out yesterday, or that the rest of the infrastructure was impacted, it's an excuse to raise prices.
Hey, you know what's not on the list of the top 10 states that had the highest jump in gas over the last week?
No, that's the rest. We're at the top.
Okay, but do you know what's not here?
Florida and South Carolina. Yeah.
The ones that are impacted by the actual hurricane. Yeah. I get it.
Well, you know why? Because price gouging in a state of emergency is illegal, and California's not in a state of emergency. I mean, there's the whole COVID thing that's never going to go away, but we're not in a state of emergency about the hurricane, so nobody's going to get their knickers knotted that the taxpayers, ratepayers are going to now see their gas prices jump up 67 cents a gallon on average.
You know what I saw OPEC described as in a book that I'm reading about the rise of synthetic drugs in the United States? A cartel.
Yeah.
They said technically they are. They get to control the price and the supply, right? Because I'm not going to blame this on like the Shell station down the street or the dinosaur place on the other corner. Because I'm sure that they are getting screwed over too when it comes to filling up the pumps, right? And then I get it. It costs more to be able to get the gas there, all that. But this goes back further, a couple steps down the way.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to eat into the profits. So this is capitalism being capitalism. Pretty good profit margin over the last 2 days.
That's the real tell in my mind.
26 cents if I'm doing my math right over 2 days. It was 11 cents last night, 15 cents the night before.
Since last Thursday, we've jumped 67 cents.
This is where we can get mad at big gas, right? Like, I'm not, like, we can be mad at them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the guy who owns the Sinclair franchise. I'm not mad at the guy who's trying to run the Chevron. It's the refineries. Look, there's profit taking going on all up and down that food chain. I'm certainly not going to take it out on the guy behind the counter, but holy smokes, am I glad I've got the ability to walk to work. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. A shutdown of your federal government narrowly averted again, and a guy's been picked up in Kingsburg selling THC-loaded vape pens to elementary school kids.
In Madera on Avenue 7 at Avenue 7.5, a non-injury accident just occurring at that location, eastbound 198 in Visalia at Acres. Got a couple of vehicles involved in a non-injury accident. Shaw Avenue near Del Mar, we have an injury accident with lots of emergency personnel on the scene. And in Golden State Boulevard at East North Avenue, a semi stuck on the tracks. Next update, 2:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
You've got 10 chances a day to win KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Your next shot is coming up at the top of the hour. Good luck from all of us at KMJ. Contest details at KMJnow.com.
This report is sponsored by Cal Recycle. Californians are recycling smarter to fight climate pollution. Join the food fight by recycling food scraps in the food and yard waste bin. For more recycling tips, go to iRecycleSmart.com. Do your part. Recycle smart.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
Happy Friday. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. This hour, your keyword in the $25,000 payoff is profit, P-R-O-F-I-T, profit. Text that to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff that's brought to you by Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules at KMJNow.com. Crisis averted. Or we just kicked that can right down the street about 2.5 months to December 16th as the Senate came together to approve 72-25, a short-term spending bill that will avert a partial government shutdown for the current fiscal year.
So everybody who voted against this was on the Republican side of the aisle, and I don't blame them a bit.
If I'm doing the math, 22 Republicans did vote for it, though, right? Because it's split 50-50?
Well, because you got 72-25, it couldn't be 50-50. It would have to be 75-25.
No, I mean in the House, right? I mean in the Senate, we have 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats.
Correct.
Isn't it right down the middle? Okay. 3 people didn't show up to work.
3 people didn't show up to work. Yeah, so your math is correct. And a lot of the dragging up to this point revolved around Democrat Manchin. Senator Manchin had tried to wiggle a little something in there to provide some energy permitting streamlining and approve a pipeline in West Virginia. And there was a whole lot of folks who said we're not gonna vote in favor of this. Fortunately, he pulled those amendments.
Yeah, he's a Weasley little man.
He's the second most powerful person in the Senate right now.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm just going to fit this thing for the pipeline and the.
That's what they do, dude.
Yeah, and it's just gross. Stop it. Anyway, he got opposition on both sides, so he decided to pull back on that. So basically, what this is the latest maneuvering that we see every single time they have a budget year. It seems like, which is every year, right? We just go ahead and say, okay, we're going to keep from shutting down, except for those few times that we did shut down.
Well, they do this, and then they come back after either right before or right after the winter break and either file one more extension or put together something that's mutually dissatisfying but technically represents another fiscal year's budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is going to allow, for the most part, with some exceptions, that spending is going to stay the same at federal agencies. The big exception is that $12 billion will be provided to aid Ukraine on top of the $50 billion already provided in 2 previous bills.
I'm really torn. What's happening in Ukraine is going to decide whether or not Ukraine continues to exist as a country or not. It's going to determine whether or not the people of Ukraine continue to live under the freedoms that they have elected for themselves, or if they are under the thumb of Vladimir Putin.
With that ridiculous annexation that's been going on?
On the other hand, we've already given them $50 billion through this kind of process, plus a boatload of hardware and training.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Ukraine succeed. I'm curious what other countries are throwing that much cash on the pile.
I don't think it would be interesting to see it, but I don't think anybody is going to come remotely close to us, simply because when you look at the way that the United States budgets for its military across the board, no one is. It always appears to fall on American pocketbooks to be able to do this, which I'm not feeling very optimistic about how things are going, considering they went ahead and, did a democratic process to vote to annex the Donbass region. But I guess because Putin hasn't taken over the whole country, we're still calling that a win at this point.
Well,
until next time he comes and takes another chunk out of it.
Well, the annexation is so much hot air unless he can defend it. And this is where McConnell makes the point that the assistance going to Ukraine isn't just feel-good stuff. He describes it as a literal investment in our own national security and that of our allies. You add to that Zelensky announced either last night or this morning, he is seeking an accelerated membership process to add Ukraine to NATO.
Yeah. They've been holding things off now for 7 months.
What the people of Ukraine have accomplished in terms of repelling Russia is admirable to the point of heroic. Vladimir Putin is not going to stop until Vladimir Putin is out of power, either by having been killed or having been dragged out screaming by the rest of the Silviaki and ridden out of town on a rail. I do not conceive of a way for Ukraine to win this fight with fits and starts of American financial aid and weapons from us and Germany and Great Britain.
Yeah. That's one chunk of it.
Yeah.
Let's go back stateside here. Disaster assistance was also included. $2.5 billion to help New Mexico recover from the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, which was the largest in their state's history. $2 billion for a block grant program that aids the economic recovery of communities impacted by other disasters. $20 million for water and wastewater infrastructure that needs to go to Jacksonville, Mississippi.
And not quite $19 billion included for FEMA to continue responding to current and future disasters like what's going on with, it's now Tropical Storm Ian again, correct? It's been downgraded again?
Yeah, it keeps kind of bouncing back and forth. The devastation out of Florida, some of those photos, Fort Myers and stuff, just completely gone.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not going to bat an eye at spending money rebuilding American states and taking care of American citizens. And I'm not angry at the notion that we're helping Ukraine, but it's an absolute last ditch stopgap to keep the government from shutting down and this and this and this and this and this and this and this. It should have been keep the government from shutting down and help people in Florida and South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, in Jacksonville, they need water. But like everybody, I mean,
but there's and this and this and
well,
this
and
and
that's
this. Why are we dealing with Jacksonville in absolute last minute, last ditch federal government staying open or not funding? It seems like if we've got a region in this country that's populated, that's got a problem at that scale, it should have been dealt with at some other point in this process.
One would think, but it's the same reason why you have someone like Manchin trying to fit in this thing about a pipeline. Like you get in where you fit in and hope nobody's going to notice.
There's 100 people in that chamber. It's split 50-50. And even under those circumstances, I'm utterly convinced that the politics matter more than the good legislation. We got to get to news. Liz Kern has it in the KMJ newsroom.
This is KMJ Breaking News.
CAL FIRE responding to a wildfire in Madera County. A fire informational alert has been issued for the area of Road 416 and Person Loop. Emergency personnel are responding. They say monitor the situation, be prepared to take action immediately, and don't wait for evacuation orders to leave if you feel threatened. Governor Gavin Newsom's calling for a windfall tax on oil companies that would go directly back to California taxpayers. Speaking in a tweet this afternoon, he says greedy oil companies are fleecing Californians, raking in unprecedented profits, nearly $100 billion in the last 3 months alone.
Gas prices in California have increased by a record 84 cents per gallon in just over 1 week. That's a $2.50 difference compared to U.S. prices. It just doesn't add up. The degree of divergence from the national prices has never happened before. And oil companies, they provide no explanation. The fact is, they're ripping you off.
Earlier today, the governor sent a letter to the California Air Resources Board directing it to make an early transition to winter blend gasoline. They responded, and the change is expected to immediately increase oil supplies by 5 to 10% and drop gas prices. Also, the governor says starting next week, millions of Californians will get upwards of $1,050 in their bank accounts from the inflation relief program that was announced in the budget. A new study says your favorite four-legged friend has a keen ability to sense when you may be at your mental breaking point.
The next time your dog gives you that understanding look, they just may know exactly what you're feeling, especially when you're stressed. Scientists in Northern Ireland discovered dogs can smell stress in our breath and sweat. Researchers took samples of both from non-smokers and monitored how the dogs, trained with food and a clicker, responded to human stress. Experts say people with anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder who use service dogs may benefit the most from the findings, but all of us can take comfort in a little rough therapy. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Man and a woman's best friend. On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 500 points, closing at 28,725. The S&P 500 dropped 54 points. NASDAQ lost 161. 2:33 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, sunny and 89 here at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has our Friday forecast.
If you're wondering when fall temperatures will get here, it's going to be a little bit. Temps are forecast for right around 90 through next weekend. Should finally see some 80s in Fresno after that. North Valley getting some upper 80s today, though. Afternoon high in Fresno is 91. Same for the South Valley. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Well, as Liz was alluding to in Madera County, it is before Course Gold. There is a fire that has happened, and it's a wildfire at this point on Road 416. Now, 416 comes off of Highway 41, and if you're on 416, it'll take you to 415. But at this point in time, because of the fire, if you can stay off 416, that would be a big help. The actual fire area is Road 416 at Persons Loop. We'll definitely keep you posted on that one. In Armona, on Hanford-Armona Road at 14th Avenue, we got an injury accident there. On northbound I-90, just north of the 99, got a bunch of pallets in the road. Apparently, the grapes and the pallets fell out of a vehicle onto the roadway, so this is causing all kinds of problems there. Visalia on eastbound 198 at Acres got a couple of vehicles and a non-injury accident. And then in Fresno on Shaw Avenue near Del Mar, got an injury accident with medical personnel on the scene. And Golden State Boulevard at East North Avenue, semi stuck on the railroad tracks. Next update is 247. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Hey, CG here. Coming up on the CGP on Saturday, Dr. Bill Maurice from Mayo Clinic and Ben Ross, Bay Area broadcaster and sports writer. It starts at 10 here on News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Cal Recycle. Confused about recycling? Californians are recycling smarter together. Visit iRecycleSmart.com for tips to help keep your recycling out of the trash. That's iRecycleSmart.com. Do your part. Recycle smart.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. PowerPill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call this if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-204-0017 today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. PowerPill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-204-0017 to take your call now. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your
your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero.
This Prep-Timber. Make sure your emergency plan includes clean, affordable solar power from Goal Zero. Goal Zero generators and home backup systems can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more. Learn more at goalzero.com.
Bill Eads RVs is overstocked and must move all remaining 2022 models. Save up to 30% off all 2022 models. You'll get 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on approved credit. Shop early for the best selection and save big. Get to Bill Eads RV in Madera today.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
I'm wearing Birkenstocks today. Okay, they're very nice footwear.
Rich, you look like you're ready to part the Red Sea.
Great.
That's all I'm
Terrific.
saying.
It's called fashion. Chris Fowler here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Chris?
Despite my Boulder roots, I cannot pull off Birkenstocks.
Oh, upset.
Therefore, I don't put them on. But hey, listen, I'm sure they look good on you.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
It's the Afternoon Drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
The only radio station that helps me through a long day.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
It is a Friday afternoon at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Phillip Teresi, Skip Echeverria. Your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. And for those of you who were missing it, we are once again streaming on Facebook Live. We continue to stream on Twitch, although at least one guy got himself blocked for being a jerk already today. And we are now on YouTube, and you'll find us across all those platforms at Drive KMJ. If you need directions, always go to drivekmj.com. I want to get to the THC vape pen guy here, but yeah, if you didn't hear about that, this schmuck in Queensburg. We'll get to that, as well as Virginia Thomas's testimony, and later on in the show, we're going to bring back for just a one-time only engagement. We're calling it Revenge of the Friday Movie Topic. I got a good one for you guys, so if you missed the Friday Movie Topic, stick around because that's going to happen tonight. Fact-checking the ballot measures, the sports betting propositions. We've got two that we're looking at here. Propositions 26 and 27. Advertisements running, if you watch TV especially, they're going heavy. Well, because of maybe time constraints, maybe trying to represent a ballot measure in the best or worst possible light, depending upon your side. There's a couple of statements that got reviewed by the good folks at Cap Radio that I thought would be worth running through the veracity of the claims.
Yeah, and I mean, this is such an interesting topic that's what Michael Germanuel talked about today before the show started.
Yeah.
This was his topic of discussion because...
Michael Germanuel Jr.
Jr., pardon me. And whenever I see money for mental health, I'm like, yes, do it. But I'm like, is it that simple? Because that's one of the claims being made here. As we dig into propositions 26 and 27, and we've had folks on that have been kind of against that. Not kind of, they are, because it had to do with like card rooms and being able to report them.
So let's dig in. We'll actually start with the claim that Prop 27 is going to provide, quote, hundreds of millions in yearly funding to finally address homelessness in California. And of course, part of that's the mental health aspect. The answer from Cap Radio is that this isn't something you can rate as true or false outright because it's possible that Prop 27 would generate hundreds of millions of dollars annually to address homelessness. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, and not likely more than $500 million annually. That money would be used to cover new costs related to regulating sports betting, which the analysts estimate could reach in the tens of millions of dollars annually. So first the money has to go to the regulation, and then there might be some of this overflow that could go to mental health, homelessness solutions after tribes get paid, after you do the monitoring, and then maybe.
So what they say is, while it is possible that Prop 27 could wind up generating hundreds of millions of dollars per year for the state to address homelessness, if taxes and fees only bring in $100 or $200 million a year, it simply would not.
So you're sitting there thinking, hey, how much does California spend on homelessness related projects, right? Because if this is going to be a big chunk of money, then maybe we should think about it. Well, if on the really, really generous side, we're looking at $500 million, how does that compare to $7.2 billion with a B that we had in the 2021-22 budget?
Sounds like a lot of money.
It's a 4% boost if they come away with $300 million.
If.
So
as long as we're talking about Prop 27, one of the other claims that is running here is that, and the way they phrase it is, quote, tribal leaders support the Solutions Act, Prop 27. Now, when you get into the specifics, 3 of California's 110 federally recognized Native American tribes support the online sports betting proposition.
Now, I'm not great with math, but that's less than 3% of the total 100%, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Now, 50 tribes have gone on record as opposing it. They say it would disrupt the gaming that they've been operating on tribal lands for decades and would drive business away from Indian casinos.
So while it is true that a few tribal leaders support Proposition 27, far more oppose the measure. Kind of an interesting way of spinning things.
It's so I was reading something about this, about how in conversation there are things we do to have people come to these kind of conclusions on their own, because they're more likely to believe conclusions on their own without stating actual facts. And that's something that we have in kind of building rapport between two people. But this has been totally manipulated by politics and stuff like this, so that you feel comfortable making, I think it's called inferences, but in action, and they're not technically breaking the rules, but they're all not necessarily being transparent.
Then we've got Prop 26, and this one's a doozy. The claim, tribes are, quote, pushing Prop 26 to guarantee themselves a virtual monopoly on all gaming in California by giving private trial lawyers the powers of the Attorney General to bury their licensed cardroom competitors with frivolous lawsuits. We're going to break down how truthful that anti-Prop 26 claim is when we get back. But as the folks at Cap Radio would put it,
buckle up.
It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ, streaming live worldwide all the time at kmjnow.com.
In Madera County, CAL FIRE is responding to a wildfire. This is in the area of Road 416 and Persons Loop, so that would be north of Yosemite Lakes Park and below the area of the casino. In Armona, Hanford-Armona Road at 14th Avenue, there's an injury accident being reported there. Also, on West 180 at McCall, we got a non-injury accident. And then on Avenue 7 at Avenue 7.5 in Madera, we got a non-injury accident. Next update is at 3:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Tired of seeing trash piled along our roads and neighborhoods? Fresno County is encouraging you and other community members to take action and be part of the solution. Cleanup efforts cost Fresno County over $1.3 million each year, reducing the funds that support other community programs. Help stop illegal dumping. Report at cleanupfresnocounty.com or call 559-600-4240. This message is brought to you by Fresno County Department of Public Works and Planning and Fresno County Department of Public Health.
Sometimes the grass really is greener when you live on the green. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and our highly anticipated gated community at Clubview is finally here. Located along the first hole of the beautiful Copper River Country Club, these lots have some of the best views of the course and iconic clubhouse, with new plans and elevations to fit your lifestyle. You can be near it all, but far from ordinary.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License number 847905.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
Attention. If you've been classified as a high-risk driver due to DUI, DWI, or tickets for aggressive driving and are required to get expensive and hard-to-find SR22 auto insurance, then you must listen to this message because Serenity can help. We're the largest insurance company in the U.S., specializing in SR22 auto insurance and focused on serving the needs of customers classified by the state as high-risk drivers. We help people get back on their feet by providing easy-to-get, low-cost SR22 insurance that anyone can afford. If you need SR22 auto insurance, or if you have it now and are paying too much, you need to call us today for your free quote at 800-279-7816. Our specialists are standing by waiting for your call. We understand people make mistakes, and we're here to help by making SR22 insurance easy to get and affordable for everyone. The call and quote are free. Call us now at 800-279-7816. That's 800-279-7816. Again, 800-279-7816.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, another chance for you to get one step closer to the $25,000 payoff with another keyword. We'll talk about our 100th anniversary show coming up too, which is going to be fun. But right now, picking apart Props 26 and 27, two things that will be on your ballot coming up in November. And we left you with Prop 26. Now, the claim is that tribes are pushing Prop 26 to guarantee themselves a virtual monopoly on all gaming in California by giving private trial lawyers the powers of the attorney general to bury their licensed card room competitors with frivolous lawsuits. This is actually something when we had, was it somebody from Club One on with us or something a while back with Clint? And
I think we had
chatted about that.
I don't think we talked with anybody on the air about this. I think we may have talked to somebody on background about this.
Okay, but we were just talking about how these are confusingly written.
Yeah, but that's a fact of ballot measures and propositions. It has been all along. So are the tribes trying to guarantee themselves a virtual monopoly? This is where you start to see it get a little bit convoluted. Back in the year 2000, the state voted to allow tribes to offer certain forms of gambling. That included card games and slot machines. That, at least in the year 2000, no other entity in California is allowed to offer.
Prop 26 would then allow them to offer roulette and dice games. Which, if you're terrible at cards, those might be more fun because you're just like, whatever, lucky sevens or something. I have no idea how to play
In the state of California, you can have a card room as long as it operates inside of a municipality that has licensed it. So there's a little bit of a parallel to the recreational marijuana thing where a state says, okay, we'll let recreational marijuana be a thing. It's still illegal federally, and federal law enforcement will come and get you if they feel like it, but they don't because the city, the county, the town that you're in. So with the gambling situation, we have card rooms that operate with the blessing of the counties and the cities in which they are in that is technically in violation of the law from the year 2000. But if you aren't the state attorney general, you can't prosecute that. And there's this little fold into Prop 26 that changes that and says that if the attorney general declines to prosecute it, then private counsel can bring charges.
So also while allowing casinos to add roulette and dice games. So they'd be able to do that. So they're adding more.
The claim that we're analyzing is whether or not it gives private lawyers the opportunity to act on behalf of the attorney general. The roulette stuff's in there, but that's not the part that's in question as to being true or false. The question is, will it let private attorneys exercise the power of the attorney general? And the answer is, yep.
It's yep, but in the same way, and this is what's pointed out by Cap Radio, that the fear is that there's going to be a bunch of meritless lawsuits because what do we assume from big casinos? They've got the money and the folks to be able to push up against that, right? To be able to do the time in court and bring the lawsuits, which could then take folks that run like a couple of the card rooms around here locally that you think about and you have a good time. Like, how do they come up with the money to protect themselves from that if somebody comes in and says, oh, this is unfair? Because that's going to come out of their pocket, right? Because the question is over, what's the deal? House bank games.
Yes.
That's the big question. Cap Radio points out that this assumes that courts don't already have a process in place to handle frivolous lawsuits.
And courts can sanction lawyers who bring frivolous lawsuits. If you have a card room that is in technical violation of a law in the state of California, even if it is operating under house bank game laws that appear to be this little carve out for a county by county, municipality by municipality decision-making process, as it should be, you're still going to have attorneys who argue very successfully that they are representing injured parties, and therefore the case is not frivolous and can proceed.
Yeah, well, because I'm thinking about like the ambulance chaser types, right? Because even if you get a little bit of a settlement, that's still something. And then are these lawyers going to be set up the same way where they work for, what is it called? Not commission. But where they don't get paid unless they
contingency.
Win. Contingency. Is that the implication here? So you could have like a whole nother subset of lawyers that would target card rooms on the off chance they could end up with a contingency payment?
I'm not sure if this goes the way of ADA vultures that go around and file lawsuits.
Yeah.
Hoping for a settlement just so they can take their cut and run. Or if this is going to look more like the class action lawsuit waves that used to ripple through new home communities, where you would have attorneys that would show up and convince people to basically sign over their rights of litigation so that they could go in and get a settlement because the knob on the gas valve on the fireplaces wasn't made of real brass, and they dragged down everybody's home values running lawsuits out into court, and the attorneys would make buku money and everybody else would get a new valve handle. So you're going to run around, shut down all the card rooms, or get a settlement out of them, and the people who like to play are going to have to take a drive?
So any predictions? Will they pass? Will they fail? These are 50%?
I think no. These are majority.
Okay.
I suspect that because there is so much confusion and because there's so much sneaky language, they'll both fail.
We shall see.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
Work trucks carry thousands of dollars in tools and equipment and get ripped off way too much. That's why truck owners come to
Jay's Alarm and Car Audio
for work truck protection that works. Call 264-9111.
Jay's Alarm and Car Audio.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. News Talk 580 AM, 1059 FM. KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. 2 teens who died last month in a fiery crash near Orange Cove have been identified. The 16-year-old girls, Jacqueline Martinez and Yolanda Chapa, both from Orange Cove, killed when their SUV hit a garbage truck. That crash happened on Monday, August the 8th at Highway 63 and Manning Avenue near Orange Cove in Fresno County. A new area code being assigned to the Central Valley. California Public Utilities Commission officials said new numbers in the region will have the area code 350 instead of 209. Officials say the change happening because variations of the first 3 numbers after the area code are running low. Those with the 209 area codes will keep their numbers. The area code usually serves multiple counties, including Fresno, Madera, and Mariposa. Fresno City Council's fired the city controller for mismanagement of finances during the pandemic. KMJ's Liz Kern has details.
Fresno City Council held a special session late Thursday night where they voted to terminate Controller Michael Lima. He'd been in charge of the city's financial activities for the past 8 years, but he allegedly let scammers bilk the city of Fresno out of more than $600,000 in 2020 during the pandemic. The mayor and council learning of the mistake this year. Council's now ordered an audit into city finances to be completed within the next 60 days. Assistant City Manager Ruthie Quinto will act as interim city controller until a permanent controller is appointed. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A new set of trains will make stops in Central Valley cities, including Fresno and Madera. Caltrans officials said the 7 Siemens Mobility train sets will be released from the San Joaquin Rail Commission facility in Stockton. The trains will have Wi-Fi power and USB ports on each seat, wider aisles, more legroom, and expanded luggage storage. President Biden spoke today about what he called Russia a sham referenda of annexing Ukrainian territory, saying Vladimir Putin's actions are a sign he's struggling. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Biden said the U.S. and its allies will not be intimidated by Russian President Vladimir Putin and what he called Putin's, quote, reckless words and threats.
He's not going to scare us and he doesn't or intimidate us. Putin's actions are a sign he's struggling.
The president again calling Putin's attempt to annex sovereign Ukrainian territory a, quote, sham.
The United States is never going to recognize this. And quite frankly, the world's not going to recognize it either. He can't seize his neighbor's territory and get away with it.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Warm weather holding steady across the valley. Afternoon highs are in the upper 80s in the North Valley, right around 90 everywhere else. Normal high this time of year is 86 in Fresno, but it's not looking like we'll see those 80s until after next week. Temps are right around 90 through next weekend. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. Right now in Sanger on westbound 180 at McCall, we got a non-injury accident and a little bit of road blockage because of that. Also in Madera, Avenue 7 at 7th and a half, there is a non-injury accident being reported. Our next update is 3:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
COIN, COIN, coin,
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
The Big Fresno Fair is back, October 5th through the 16th, with your favorite fair food carnival rides, live horse racing, and the Table Mountain Concert Series presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota. Buy early and save big. See all the ways to save at FresnoFair.com.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive at 490-5858.
And toll free at 800-776-5858.
That was one of the greatest openings I've ever heard. It really put a lot of things in perspective.
We're sorry. It's the Valley's Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Now, Phillip and Skip.
3:07 on a Friday afternoon. News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ, first things first, a new keyword has come into play for the 25K payoff, brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. Every hour, weekdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we give you a new national keyword. You text it to 95819, while, of course, never, ever texting and driving. If you're lucky, you win $100, and that $100 gets you into the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. That's why we call it the 25K payoff, and if you need to know more about how it works, the rules are available at KMJNow.com, but we do have a new keyword that you need to be texting to 95819. Skip?
It's coin, COIN, coin. Text that to 95819. You can win $100. Not a bad way to kick off a weekend.
Would not be a bad way to kick off the weekend at all. Speaking of the weekend, we got a whole really great lineup Saturday. Auto Shop Talk starts things off at 7 a.m. The CGP at 10 a.m. He's got Dr. Bill Maurice coming in from the Mayo Clinic to talk about hackers and the vulnerability of electronic patient records. Joe and Lisa Basil are back at 11, sponsored by German Auto and Fresno Tire. Mark Copitan sitting down with Nick Marzliano of Sam's Italian Deli at noon. Restaurant tours follow that at 1 o'clock. And then the KMJ Week in Review at 2 o'clock. And last I heard, the interview that Blake and I did with David Valadeo was going to be a big part of that. Mm-hmm. However, Ray Appleton spent some time talking with Dr. Joseph Castro today on the Ray Appleton program. So I'm not going to pretend my feelings won't be a little hurt if we get bumped, but the Castro story, the Valadeo legislation, I don't know. You're just going to have to tune in Saturday at 2 for KMJ's Week in Review to find out how that got decided. So we talked about stuff on the ballot, Propositions 26, 27, and the city council last night decided that despite a whole bunch of people on both sides of the aisle going, whoa, this might not be legal, they're going to spend $600,000 on voter education materials for two things that are already on the November ballot.
See how we just did the whole voter education thing going through, what was that, Cap Radio? Mm-hmm. Like that's, you can go and research and find that stuff out. Instead, this is going to be sent to you in the form of like those neat little flyers and stuff like that with the outreach. The city is going to pay a consultant $450,000 to make those cute little educational materials.
That's for Measure M.
That's for Measure M. That is the Fresno City proposed sales tax that will raise money for veterans facilities and services. And that's eighth of a percent on taxable goods and services. I'm not opposed to maybe I'll kick down a little bit of extra money every time I go buy something to help out the veterans. I don't know why my money that gets paid to the city is going towards helping to create the educational material to pass the thing that helps the city. I'm confused.
The only distinction that I can even begin to offer, and to be clear, I am very much so playing devil's advocate. We are talking about a Veterans Memorial District proposed by the city in service to the city to be administered through the city. And so, therefore, there is not an organic grassroots yes on M entity to take that side. Likewise, there is also not a no on M entity because we're talking about veteran services and facilities. So nobody wants to be the first one to say, hey, yeah, screw the guys that went to fight in Vietnam. That's not going to come out of anybody's mouth.
But we also recognize that most people will go no to a tax hike.
We don't know that. They said yes to Measure Z.
Yeah, but and that's the closest thing that I can think of with this. But Measure Z also had the zoo and supporters of the zoo aligning to push it. So the way that, like, in a world where I would say, okay, what veterans groups would come out and support this and be able to mobilize and do outreach, I mean, that's what that would take. Except for the city is coming in to step in and help.
It seems like a lot of money for something that could be very well served with like a Facebook page, a Squarespace, and timely submission of pro Measure M documentation to the County Register of Voters.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we're in the wrong business.
So,
we grow up and be consultants.
Hey, if you want to give me $450,000 to sit here and talk about a ballot measure or something, like, let's chat. I'm supposed to have like standards and practices and ethics, but if we can get that pony up high enough, I mean, at a certain point they're going to fire me anyways, right? $500,000, that's a couple of years of doing this.
A couple, a lifetime. The only thing that, because I'm trying to think of who would you get to mobilize, right? But you know, like the Central Valley Honor Flight people, we see lots of love and support for those folks, but that's its own entity that's busy trying to do its things. I think of like the local VFWs and stuff. They have their own entities trying to do their stuff. So I appreciate the spirit of this from the city. I just wonder if you could like put some bids out or like hired, I don't know, a school to do it, right? Like a Fresno State's advertising school or department or something. $450,000 is a lot.
Especially for something that I think is fundamentally already a
good idea.
Welcome idea. Yeah. Then another $150,000. That's going to go to a local ad agency to produce materials. Pimp and Measure C, which is this $7 billion 30-year transportation spending plan renewal that already has a very, very vocal No on C committee.
What's interesting is how the votes, like so many people on the city council supported these things, which seems like a big chunk of money, right? Going back to Measure C, we talked about this yesterday. The No on C committee, is that all the left folks?
I suppose you could put it that way. Okay. I mean, it's an interesting thing because like the Fresno County Board of Supervisors, which is at least at this point still majority conservative, they voted to put it on the ballot. Mm-hmm. Community advocates are saying, hang back, hold off. So the No on Measure C coalition's asking the Superior Court to place their own opposition argument in the voter's guide instead of the one that came through from the Libertarian Party. So there's even fighting on the folks who don't want it about why they don't want it and who's going to make the more compelling argument.
This is where I start to wonder then, like, is, again, going back to with the No on Measure C, the arguments are then because it's not like, how come they don't work together? How come the libertarian argument and the Measure C people don't like overwhelmingly get to the no category?
So here's a theory.
Uh-huh.
Measure C, as it is currently written, seems to be objectionable on a couple of different levels. The argument against Measure C, as it is currently on the voter guide, was put together by two members of the California Libertarian Party. The problem with libertarians is that, in my opinion, and by the way, this is coming from somebody who frequently uses libertarian as a short way of explaining my political leanings when I'm talking to somebody that I don't really want to have a long conversation with. Because we are usually in alignment about our bottom lines. Libertarians will say things that sound like crazy people who wish they were born in 1776. And they will say things like the government shouldn't build roads. It is not the business of the government to build roads. If the government would stop interfering with the people's right to self-regulate, the private industry would build bigger, better, faster roads at a lower cost, and the people who wanted them would pay for them. And so the government shouldn't be building roads, which makes perfect sense until you think about how many poor people there are in a town like Fresno who would then be trying to drive their hoopty on pitted gravel tracks because they can't afford to hire somebody to come pave their road. So
it sounds great in theory, but there are some drawbacks.
Well, the problem is the libertarians take it too far. They don't just say this is a bad idea and it's not going to be administered carefully in addition to being the government sticking its nose where it doesn't belong. They say crazy things like if we all started riding horses, we wouldn't have to build roads.
When we come back, we'll talk about some of the arguments for Measure C, this support for paying for the educational materials, and what the No on C committee folks argue because the plan doesn't do enough.
In Strathmore on State Route 65 at Avenue 196, we got a collision. At this point in time, unknown injuries. Also in Avenal on State Route 33 at Highway 41. Got a non-injury accident at that location. Next update is at 3:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Live. Local. KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small businesses create bold signs to make big impressions. Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Offer ends 10/1. Visit staples.com/thisisyoursign for details. This is your sign to print big at Staples.
And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
Bill Eads RV is overstocked and must move all remaining 2022 models. Save up to 30% off all 2022 models. You'll get 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on approved credit. All 2022 models must go. It's not too late to save big on your next adventure. Bill Eads RV on Highway 41 in Madera. Don't miss this Bill Eads RV factory direct pricing sales event going on now. Shop early for best selection. When they're gone, they're gone. Bill Eads RV on Highway 41 in Madera, where your next adventure begins.
September is going to be insane! Tachi Palace is giving you even more chances to win with table game promotions all month long. Monday through Friday, every weekday, promos! Hot seats, blackjack, baccarat, and more! More promos means more winners, and more winners means more the Shrimpies! Ending my work week with more Shrimpies? That's promo insanity! Sorry, too excited! Promotions all month long. See the Premier Club for details. Only at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
We're Saya LTL Freight. For nearly a century, our team has been committed to driving business forward. From Lady Liberty to the Golden Gate, Superstore to Corner Store. We go that extra mile, expanding our team to better serve you. So trust that when you partner with Saya, we take every delivery personally. Visit Saya.com for all your shipping needs. That's SAIA.com.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702. Costco.
With so many used car lots, big and small, how do you know the difference? Take a look at Central Valley Fleet. Hand-picked pre-owned vehicles priced right and backed by Scott and Katie Beal, who've always done you right. SUVs to muscle cars to lifted trucks and the best-selling passenger vehicles, Central Valley Fleet has yours. And unlike any other pre-owned vehicle center in the valley, even the national guys, Central Valley Fleet has an on-site service center to back up your vehicle. Central Valley Fleet on West Shaw, next to Harley-Davidson, across from Costco.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
I'm wearing Birkenstocks today. Okay, they're very nice footwear.
Rich, you look like you're ready to part the Red Sea. That's all I'm
Terrific.
saying.
It's called fashion. Chris Fowler here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Chris?
Despite my Boulder roots, I cannot pull off Birkenstocks.
Oh, upset.
Therefore, I don't put them on. But hey, listen, I'm sure they look good on you.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. If you're playing along but you haven't sent the text yet, you need to text the word coin, 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 to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Brought to you by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules at KMJNow.com. We were talking about one of the big questions that was on the 12-plus hour agenda for Fresno City Council yesterday was whether or not the City Council was going to approve the spending of $600,000 to help with voter education on a couple of ballot campaigns. Now, going into the break, I was telling you about the support for Measure C. Measure C was prepared by local political leaders, and that includes Mayor Dyer. They looked at internal polls that said Fresno County voters want, first and foremost, their neighborhood streets improved, which is the plan over the next 30 years to repave local roads. The No on C folks argue that it doesn't do enough to build new sidewalks, improve public transportation, and fight climate change. Therefore,
you lost me. You lost me right there. It doesn't do enough to fight climate change. It's the county of Fresno. It's the city of Fresno. We cannot fight climate change by making it harder to operate a motor vehicle. Morons, stop pretending that you're going to solve this with the blue bin in your backyard. You making the roads worse, therefore making it harder for my car to work, does the opposite of what you think you want.
They went on to say that Thursday's action is a violation of public trust, plain and simple. That's gonna be the rundown of all the propositions. Okay, so is when it's you don't like it. What is it if it's good?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we should do that. That should be a new game. Get on that, producer. That could be great. Like, how do I vote, Philip? Okay.
Look.
We need our streets fixed. There's so many streets in this town, and Fresno City
yes.
It needs help. Now, I also agree that, it would be helpful to do some other things, because not everybody drives, but Fresno is set up for a driving town.
Come on. It's not doing enough of this. It's not doing enough of that. Stop.
You got to start somewhere.
You're once again making perfection, which in your mind alone is your agenda perfection. You're trying to make perfection the enemy of improvement. The roads have to be in decent shape, because while there might be this progressive, wacko, utopian vision that we're all going to park our cars one day and start walking and bicycling everywhere. We just got through 2 weeks of it being 120 degrees. I'm not walking to work. I'm not getting on a bus. I bought a car. I pay my taxes. Fix the road.
I just tried once to get flashy lights put in for kids crossing in a school zone and got shut down. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in anything getting fixed.
No, this city and this county is absolutely responsive when they are presented with legitimate, specific needs. And all you have to do is walk out that door and out that door and look down at Shaw Avenue. And what do you see at Shaw and Harrison?
A school? Lots of accidents.
In the middle of Shaw.
Oh, the turn lane.
The turn lane. It used to be wide open, so you could pull out from Radio City on Harrison and make a left turn across 6 lanes of traffic.
Shaw, really?
To get onto westbound Shaw. And there were accidents week after week after week. And we had it in like very short order. We had Steve Brandow in like 2 weeks in a row. And it was just by coincidence that while Steve was here, and this is when now Supervisor Brandow was still
part of
the Northwest Fresno City Councilman.
Oh.
As he was
gotcha.
in Mike Carbassi's chair before Mike got there. And Chris goes walking out there for a smoke, and Brando follows him out to chat with him on a commercial break. And eek, whack.
No way.
And Chris doesn't even flinch because it just happens all the time. And it's not like it's a major, it's not John Wick cars flipping end over end. It was a fender bender. But Brando, was like, didn't that happen when I was here last week? Chris goes, yeah, it happens usually once or twice a week. And Brando had that turn lane put in to preserve life and improve safety.
Okay. So how many years ago was that?
Couple.
Okay. Well, and the reason why I asked that is because I feel like even getting common sense stuff down or done, we talked about this on like a national level, even on a local level, gets kind of sideways and silly. Now, one of the things I will say about the approvals of both of these measures to have city funds put towards it is that you had the full spectrum of people agree to it. So on one end, you have the Arias, and the other end, you have the Bredefeld, and everybody in the middle that all was like, yeah, we should put our money towards it. So I'm like, okay.
Because the two groups that are objecting are special interests that think it's the city council's job to deal with global warming. And the libertarians whose opposition statement, which, by the way, the two people, because again, it's not really like the Libertarian Party, it's two guys. The guys who wrote it told James Kuss, specifically in reference to Measure C, take ours out and put in this other group because they make a more specific argument. Because what is in the ballot guide right now, the voter guide right now, starts with, how much election cheating are you willing to put up with? Do you know all the public officials with duties related to local measure elections? Are these officials corrupt? All of them? It's almost like a conspiracy. And that turns up in like 6 or 7 places in the voter guide as an opposition statement. And the rationale for keeping it is, well, they got here first.
Yeah, because there is no protocol. So maybe our city or our county elections official could like start to create a protocol, because that sounds dumb to me.
So while I think that the No on C campaign, which is led by the usual pack of left-wing goofballs, the usual suspects in this town, at least they're making a coherent argument. I disagree with them, and I think that their argument's dumb, but at least it's thought out and relevant to the ballot measure. So I understand why the city council, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a terrible, terrible precedent. But I understand that why the city council would look at the conspiracy theory screed masquerading as dissenting opinion might make them worry that people aren't going to look to the voter guide to get educated if that's the level of discourse in there.
So while I understand there's going to be that section that has the special interest groups, right, that are going to be pushing for the no and why is the city going to use money, there was a diverse group of folks that did come forward and say, we shouldn't be spending our money doing this. We'll talk about that on the way.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno police on the lookout for two stabbing suspects. The two men are accused of stabbing a 47-year-old man in the chest in central Fresno early this morning. The victim taken to a nearby hospital and is expected to recover. A Fresno student arrested after they made a threat about a shooting on social media. Fresno police officials say the Edison High School student wrote the post threatening to shoot the school Thursday morning. Authorities said they searched the student's home and found no weapons. School district officials said the student will face consequences. It comes after several similar hoaxes took place in the region this month, causing lockdowns. Hurricane Ian made its fourth landfall this week over the U.S. when it slammed into Georgetown, South Carolina this afternoon. Ian made its latest landfall as a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-an-hour sustained winds, plus the torrential rain and flooding. Forecasters warned the dangers from Ian still very real. Here's ABC News meteorologist Greg Dutra.
This is far from over. Even though it has made landfall, there's still very heavy rain on the southern and southwestern quadrant of this, and that is falling over Charleston, where they've seen in some cases up to about 7 inches of rainfall. And as it makes its way inland, we'll see gusts above 60, possibly all the way to hurricane strength from Myrtle Beach up to Wilmington. Raleigh inland is going to see 50 or so mile per hour gusts. And when you've got saturated ground and even just tropical storm force winds above 39 miles per hour, you're going to have trees down. You're going to have power outages.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Warm weather holding steady across the valley. Afternoon highs are in the upper 80s in the North Valley, right around 90 everywhere else. Normal high this time of year is 86 in Fresno, but it's not looking like we'll see those 80s until after next week. Temps are right around 90 through next weekend. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
In Fresno, northbound Willow, just north of Beheimer, there's a bunch of debris that has been spilt in the roadway, causing a hazard there. Strathmore, State Route 65 at Avenue 196, minor injury accident at that location. Our next update is at 3:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Recycle your old technology free during Staples Free Tech Take Back. Items like old modems, mice, and mobile phones, or cables, calculators, and camcorders. Staples Rewards members get $5 back in rewards. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 reward per month. Visit staples.com/recycling. Recycle at Staples.
How do you make the most of your land? Thomas & Tractor Company has been helping farmers like you make the most of their land with the right tractor, like John Deere's 5M series. These chore tractors bring the horsepower and versatility so you can mow, spray, harvest, and handle everything you need to maximize productivity. Check out at Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individual personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero.
This Prep-Timber.
Make sure your emergency plan includes clean, affordable solar power from Goal Zero. Goal Zero generators and home backup systems can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more. Learn more at goalzero.com.
Hey, CG here. Coming up on the CGP on Saturday, Dr. Bill Maurice from Mayo Clinic and Ben Ross, Bay Area broadcaster and sports writer. It starts at 10 here on News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
It's the afternoon drive with Philip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ.
They're not afraid to be them.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Philip.
Guys, we've been talking about the KMJ 100th anniversary concert presented by Caglia Environmental and American Pistachio Growers for a while now. I've heard rumors there might be more ticket giveaways. Maybe. Just rumors. And of course, October 11th at the Paul Paul Theater, Tower of Power, the Appletones, and comedian Paul Rodriguez join forces on the stage for this party. It's part of the Table Mountain Concert Series, brought to you by Toyota and Modelo Especial. But if you want to go to the concert and you want to save a couple of bucks getting into the fair, follow the Big Fresno Fair on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. They are going to post a special code for a admission happy hour. October 11th from 4 to 7 p.m., you can get admission to the Big Fresno Fair for $2. $2. But you've got to be following the fair on social media like now, so when they post the secret codes, you get it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Big Fresno Fair, or go to FresnoFair.com for all the details. But if you want to get into the fair for $2, the night of the KMJ 100th anniversary celebration, Tuesday, October 11th.
And for parents listening too, while you were talking about this yesterday, went and made sure I was following the Fresno Fair and saw some stuff they had posted up about discounted like carnival ride wristbands and stuff. I was like, oh, this is some inside info, so it's definitely worth following along with. Okay, so I wanted to kind of touch back on the Fresno City Council voting basically unanimously, except for one vote. Somebody wasn't there. Anyway, we're going to spend Fresno money to send out about $600,000 worth of voter educational material. Now, the No on C folks are definitely against this, and they have their list of reasons why. Because they don't want something supporting C to be paid for by the city to get voted on, right? But there was a group of folks that were raising some questions about the appropriateness of spending city dollars on voter education. And it wasn't just the No on C folks. We talked about this yesterday. The League of Women's Voters, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, Faith in the Valley, Mothers Helping Mothers Central California, Friends of CalWA, NorCal Carpenters Union, and Carpenters Local 701 raised the question of, is it the responsibility of the city to put together educational materials?
Well, and this may be why the city council split the Measure M and Measure C, wink, wink, educational spending into two separate agenda items. And by the way, your missing vote there was Soria was absent yesterday. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, unanimously, the city council approved paying for the education on Measure M, which is for the Veterans District here in Fresno. I stand by what I said before. I think this is something that's popular enough. A committee in favor can be found in the grassroots. I'm not going to start a recall campaign over advocating for veterans. It took 3 votes to approve the spending for Measure C. It failed the first time through because it lacked 4 votes in favor. Mm-hmm. So it failed. But they voted to reconsider the item and ultimately found their way to the funding. Miguel Arias said that he supports Measure M spending because there is no campaign committee currently advocating for or against it. Measure C already has both.
Do we know who switched their vote? We'll have to go through that, because I was under the assumption that once something loses, you just move on from that. Now, granted, the breakdown of money, there is less being spent on Measure C than on Measure M when you come down to the actual numbers here. It's only $150,000 to produce materials for Measure C.
Well, and that may be part of what finally got it through on a 4-1 vote. Yeah. If you want to know who changed their votes, Councilmember Arias was the lone no vote, and Esparza abstained.
Okay. So because originally it was supposed to be $250,000 for Measure C, then it gets knocked down to $150,000.
Yeah. And I think that Councilmember Carbasi makes a good point. It is important. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, thousands of jobs. Measure C is not a small thing. But we already have entities advocating on both sides.
Yeah. But if I remember Measure C correctly, this is a county-wide one, right? And this was part of the argument in the breakdown, because the county board of supervisors thought that they weren't getting enough of the allocation to take care of county roads as opposed to Fresno. And Fresno was making the argument, there was like a whole group of mayors that got together, that Fresno deserves more because Fresno generates more of the income, the tax income, right? So you already had some folks that were like not about this early on, but Fresno benefits from this passing. The city of Fresno. So I mean, yeah, they're like, we gotta put some money where we want the thing to pass. I just don't know if that's okay.
But Skip,
what?
It's not going to solve global warming, so it's bad.
Yeah. Well, what do they say? An enemy of my enemy is a friend of mine.
To paraphrase, that's.
Yeah. So is the city looking at that and going, well, we have the money. It's $150,000 and that'll be enough to at least kind of maybe help push back on that lame libertarian argument about like just everything's a conspiracy. And
that's not a libertarian argument. That government is corrupt and government metastasized and grown beyond its constitutional functionality is extremely questionable, and that taxation is theft. Like, those are all legitimate arguments.
Oh yeah, no, I was just literally quoting the thing that gets put in the educational.
And then there's the libertarians that do that to themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
That's like I said, good people. Bottom line, we tend to kind of come into alignment about stuff. And then you get the guys that, well, if we don't build roads, everybody can go back to riding on horseback, as if though that's a solution.
Well, and the city has voted and done what it's going to do, but I do think that there was also those points brought up, not on just the No on C folks, but a diverse group of people that were like, is this where we're supposed to be spending our money? It's not illegal, but the optics could be questionable from people on the outside or who just don't like it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. All right. As long as we're talking about watching the Watchmen here, I don't want to spend a great deal of time on this, but Virginia Thomas, also known as Ginny Thomas, as in the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, went in to give her testimony to the J6 committee. She agreed to appear. She sat down and explained to them that she did, in fact, urge the then White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, to challenge the results of the 2020 election. And given the opportunity to clarify her position, Ginny Thomas repeated her claim that the election was stolen.
Man, I thought she was going to go in there and I don't know if she's doubling down or on like, well, if I say this, then they can't hold me responsible if I'm somehow found to be interfering because I honestly do believe it. Or
so here's the thing. Mrs. Thomas having concerns about irregularities in the election and reaching out to the people of influence, the folks in the room, because she has an elevated level of access. and saying, how do we fix this? What do we do? Doesn't mean that she played any role in the things that followed the election, including January 6th. Me sending you a text message that, hey, I'm worried that Weekly's leaving the parking lot a little fast, and then Weekly leaves the parking lot a little fast and ends up trading paint with one of the bollards there on the ramp, doesn't mean that it's my fault that Weekly drove fast and bumped the bollard on the ramp. Likewise, Ginny Thomas saying, I don't think this is right, gets translated into the guy with the raccoon on his head running around screaming in the Capitol building.
Not direct lines, but I would also say that Ginny Thomas, being the wife of a Supreme Court justice and also somebody in her own space that throws around her own weight as a political move maker, she was texting the former White House chief of staff, among other things, Biden's win is the, quote, greatest heist of our history. That was sent on November 10th. On November 6th, she said, do not concede. It takes time for the army who is gathering for his back. She's not even, at this point, there's also this idea of activism. Do you have to have some separation if your husband is a Supreme Court justice, and I'm all for women making their own money, but like your political activism and influence in those ways, it just starts to become murky.
So this is not the first time that her being a conservative political activist has caused people to raise questions and ask if it's having an impact on Justice Thomas. They've even suggested that he recuse himself from cases involving Capitol rioters. Mrs. Thomas insists that her and her husband don't talk about his cases. They don't talk about his work. And he just is silent Thomas. He's just not commenting on it. I don't think that this lady sending text messages to somebody like Mark Meadows translates to her husband being judicially compromised. And I don't think it means that she knew anything material.
Okay. Well, she might. So you mean she might be a loudmouth who just wants to run her mouth, and they're like, "Oh God, Jeannie's at it again." That could be possible too. Also, though, if she is supposed to be somebody who is taken seriously as a political heavyweight in her own way, if you're sending messages to the chief of staff saying it takes time for the army, like, what are you doing? I think she's doubling down on trying to pull the crazy card.
I don't think she's trying to pull the crazy card. I just think that she believes the election was stolen and isn't going to back away from saying so. You can be wrong without being malicious.
Man, dinner's going to be super weird with the two of them. That's one way he could be like, honey, I can't talk to you. You talking to you gets me in trouble.
Maybe that's where he got his practice at being so quiet.
All right, this just coming in. It is southbound 41 at the Jensen Avenue on-ramp. It appears that there's a pedestrian walking in northbound number 2 lane. So be real careful if you're in that area. North Fowler and East Beeheimer, we have a problem in the roadway there, and it's a bumper and some debris in the roadway, so look out. In Visalia Avenue 228 at Oakmore Street, there is a non-injury accident being reported there. Our next update happens at 4:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Cal Recycle. Want to help fight climate pollution? We can reduce climate heating gases from landfills when we recycle food scraps. Join the California food fight with tips at iRecycleSmart.com. Do your part. Recycle smart.
LampyDodge.com. Lampy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Visalia has a big inventory and, yes, even great discounts. Right now, you can save $7,934 on every new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn in stock. You get $2,250 in rebates, $1,500 when you finance through Chrysler Capital, and the Lampy discount of $4,184 to save $7,934 off MSRP. Or 0% financing on many select models.
Offers expire 9/30/22. Plus government fees and taxes, any finance charges, any dealer document processing charge, any electronic filing charge, and any emission testing charge.
Plus, you still get that Lampy lifetime limited warranty. The full details and current inventory is available right now at LampyDodge.com.
New vehicles arriving daily.
Your new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram is practically in your backyard in Visalia. It's Power Days at Lampy Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, just off the 198, across from the airport in Visalia.
LampyDodge.com.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-423-4161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-423-4161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-423-4161. What do you have to lose? Call 800-423-4161. Again, 800-423-4161.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up at 4 o'clock, another keyword in the $25,000 payoff. But right now, Philip and I go down to Kingsburg, where strange things were happening at Rayford Johnson Junior High. There was a report on Wednesday about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right around lunch. An out-of-control student found with a cannabis vape pen. Not necessarily illegal, but definitely if you're under 21.
No, it's illegal. That's a kid. During an investigation, officers ended up taking several vape pens containing THC-infused oils from other students on campus. They found out that the kids had bought the pen, or they had gotten the pens from a kid at Reagan Elementary who had bought them from a 21-year-old Shane Sugar Tirado.
Yeah, so on Thursday, detectives visited 21-year-old Shane at his home in Kingsburg. He was subsequently booked at the Fresno County Jail on felony drug sale charges and other misdemeanors, including furnishing cannabis to a minor under the age of 14, willful endangerment of a child, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They're trying to figure out if any other underage kids got a vape pen from Shane, who has an opportunity to think about his life choices.
I'm glad they were able to track it back safely. This is just stupid. All right. We got an updated headlines on the way. Another shot at the 25K payoff coming up after that. And don't forget, just before 5 o'clock, we are going to do a one-off Revenge of the Friday movie topic. Just like we used to do back in the day, more or less. If you don't know how the Friday movie topic works, we're going to give you a scenario, a question, and then let you guys steer where we go from there. We'll explain more on the afternoon drive on KMJ. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525. And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
Filtered water in your home is easier than ever. Hey, it's me, Appleton. Taste and feel the difference with LifeSource Water. Visit lifesourcewater.com. Call them, 559-449-8822.
From the grapevine to the bay, News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station. KMJ.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Chuck Severson. Ian is losing strength. The storm has dropped from a hurricane to a post-tropical cyclone as it moves further into South Carolina. Ian made landfall for the fourth time with weaker winds but heavy rains. ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
You can see the rain actually finally starting to end in places like Charleston, South Carolina, where they already saw 2-inch-per-hour rainfall rates. They're still getting those gusty winds, but that heavy rain is going to continue to move up into the mid-Atlantic. Tornado watches remain in effect. Wilmington, North Carolina, up through Virginia Beach. That's through tonight.
As South Carolina hunkers down, Florida is recovering. Governor Ron DeSantis says rescue personnel have gone through more than 3,000 homes in the hardest hit areas to check on people.
As of last night, we've contacted over 20,000 Floridians that filled out a shelter-in-place survey on floridadisaster.org. over 10,000 have responded, and all 10,000 said they were safe.
Florida reporting over 24 deaths from the storm. The House has passed a bill to fund the government past midnight tonight. It's on President Biden's desk. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed treaties to illegally annex more occupied areas of Ukraine.
President Biden said the U.S. and its allies will not be intimidated by Russian President Vladimir Putin and what he called Putin's, quote, reckless words and threats.
He's not going to scare us, and he doesn't or intimidate us. Putin's actions are a sign he's struggling.
The president again calling Putin's attempt to annex sovereign Ukrainian territory a, quote, sham.
The United States is never going to recognize this. And quite frankly, the world's not going to recognize it either. He can't seize his neighbor's territory and get away with it.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Wall Street closing out a tough September with the S&P's worst monthly loss since March of 2020 when the pandemic crashed global markets. The Dow lost 500 points today. This is ABC News.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right. There's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you will get a job. Just text FORM to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want, full-time, at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast, guaranteed. Just text FORM to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word FORM to 323232.
Denmark and Sweden have told the United Nations that the Nord Stream pipeline leaks are the result of a blast equal to several hundred kilos of explosives, an act of suspected sabotage. The pipeline carries natural gas from Russia to Europe. Numbers show COVID cases and hospitalizations are falling, but how accurate are the stats?
The CDC reports that the U.S. is averaging 47,000 new COVID cases a day, a 13% drop in the last week. But the latest report also noting that with more people testing at home, more positive tests are not getting reported to officials, suggesting a significant undercount. A more reliable number is hospitalizations, which continue to decline, down just over 7% in the last week to 28,000 virus-positive patients. That number at the peak of the pandemic, more than 160,000.
ABC's Dave Packer. Commerce Department finds consumers spent more in August compared to July in spite of inflation. Spending increased at stores and for services like haircuts. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
All right, right now on northbound 41 at the eastbound 180 connector, there's a bunch of police activity there, an area you might want to avoid if you can. Northbound 41 at Shields got a non-injury accident being reported there. And we also have in Tulare Avenue 228 at South Oakmore, there is a non-injury accident being reported. Next update is at 417. I'm Greg Link with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
money. MONEY. Money
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at kmjnow.com.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Are you getting hit hard by the IRS and worried about all your profit going to pay for taxes? Make an investment that can potentially pay you passive income for up to 20 or more years, and it will provide a 100% write-off on your taxes in the first year. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are a SEC-accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. The U.S. government needs your investment in oil, and you're allowed to write off nearly 100% on your taxes in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to continue to go up. Call 1-800-278-7455. Encore Energy is a very active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now if you're an accredited investor and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential income. Call for a free consultation, 800-278-7455. Call Encore Energy now at 1-800-278-7455.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chancey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chancey Gold Resort and Casino.
There's a lot we have to do. It's not going to be easy, but I think we can get it done. But it's going to be painful. We're going to continue to see oil prices go up.
You're getting to be a very strange man in your old age, you know that?
It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria, celebrating 100 years of KMJ.
4:06 on your Afternoon Drive, Friday edition at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. That's Skip Echeverria. I'm Philip Teresi, and we've got a new national keyword for you in the 25K payoff. That's brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino every hour. Weekdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We give you a keyword. You text it to 95819, and if you're lucky, you win $100 that hour. If you do, you're automatically in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. It's why we call it the 25K payoff. If you want to know more about how it works, you'll find the contest rules at kmjnow.com. Please do not text and drive, but if you want to get in on this hour's $100 and that shot at the $25,000 grand prize drawing, text the national keyword to 95819. Skip, what is their national keyword?
It is money, M-O-N-E-Y, money.
Text it to 95819. Good luck. So a report has been released, this investigation by the university, by Fresno State University, into the handling of misconduct claims against the former vice president of student affairs, a man named Frank Lamas, who is long since gone. The investigation describes Dr. Castro, the then president of California State University, Fresno, as having a blind spot that negatively influenced his response to Frank Lamas's behavior.
The university released its report this week finding it was an independent external investigation.
Yeah.
The report that found that Castro had failed to, quote, more rigorously address the reports of alleged misconduct filed against Lamas, which impacted the school's response.
Yeah, specifically, they say that Fresno State did take action to explore each of the reports, but some of the responses didn't meet the policy standards that were laid out in Executive Order 1096. Between 2014 and 2019, they received 9 reports of inappropriate conduct, 7 being filed just between mid-14 and August 16.
Yeah, if I want to take a step back in time here because we've been following this as it was all coming out. And when the big story broke, it was about a student, former student or graduate level, a young female who was working for him and had made an allegation of some inappropriate comments and touching while like driving to an event or
like
something.
Like he was massaging her thigh.
Yeah, very inappropriate, right? Like something, you know, we would definitely not see happening in this building. And I remember at the time, both of us were like, that's a big claim to make for somebody. And you don't just jump to rubbing up on some woman's thigh, making, hinting at opportunities for moving up the ladder. And then it started creeping out. That wasn't the first time. There were some other complaints that actually date back to 2014. But what do we know about pushing the envelope? You push it one way, and then you push it out a little more, and then you push it out a little more. And so some of these seemed smaller, if you will. Partying off campus, verbal gender-based misconduct, staring at the chest region of females. And then it got worse to instances of retaliation and bullying.
See, I feel like if we were talking about, well, in 1964, so-and-so from the dean's office was reported to have stared at girls in tight sweaters. I can see how in that era, there would have been a more relaxed response. This was 2014.
Yeah, and it's at a university.
Yeah.
Where we have all of this stuff about like creating safety on campus. You got the Title IX stuff. And by the time this guy made his exit, he was overseeing the big department that the Title IX was technically in. So, and then he left and got a letter of recommendation.
And a fat paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's where Dr. Castro comes in. If you missed it earlier today, Dr. Joseph Castro, formerly the president at California State University, Fresno, and formerly the president of the California State University system, he called and talked with Ray Appleton about this report coming out. And if you didn't get to hear that portion of the Ray Appleton program, it's a podcast now. You can go to kmjnow.com. It's right there, number 2 on the stack. When you click Ray Appleton Show podcast, Dr. Joseph Castro calls in to speak with Ray. The gist, without taking anything away from those of you that want to listen to that, is that Castro disagrees with several aspects of the investigator's findings. He feels that he gave information that was much more clearly demonstrative of a serious effort to deal with a problem that was being taken seriously in the moment.
Yeah, but how seriously are you taking it if these are the things that are happening and somebody keeps moving up? And how seriously are you taking it if not only do these things keep coming up, because they were friends, right? I mean, there was like some, I forget how it works. Like the kids called him uncle or something, right? If I remember the stories
Uncle
correctly.
Frank,
yeah. So we can be guilty of this. You have your blinders on when it's somebody you care and love about, which then I go to should there be some separation professionally amongst the people that you are managing?
See, and I don't think that's a great bottom line solution. No, I take that back. It's not a great frontline solution. There are people from my personal life and my professional life that I'm friends with that are fantastic to work with. And I'm going to be better in my job if I can access them as a resource, if I can have them around me to contribute to what I'm trying to do. And I've found that to be true across industries. It's not just I'm a high level guy, and so when we're in our smoky back room, I want to hang out with somebody who's going to cut me the slack I need. Especially people that I'm friends with in a professional context, I know what you're capable of. I know what you bring to the table. We have a shorthand in how we communicate with each other. And so naturally that can be a better situation. I guess the part that I don't understand is if these reports kept coming in and this guy was in charge of the office that was supposed to be supervising the investigation and the whatever would follow the investigation, consequences, I suppose, discipline. Why wouldn't you have brought in an outsider right away?
Because I think that sometimes while I understand working, it's helpful that I like working with you, right? But I also don't have any disciplinary power dynamic over you or vice versa, right? In this case, you had somebody that was continuing to move up. And in fact, when all of this stuff really hit the fan, what was going on? COVID and discussion about moving up to chancellor, right? Yeah. So if you're in active negotiations for being chancellor, it may be a little bit of like, nope, my house is fine. It's okay. It's not that big a deal. So what if, somebody was asking inappropriate comments about sexual orientation or your boyfriend?
On this end of the investigation, it becomes much clearer. You and I have the advantage of hindsight. and insight above and beyond what was necessarily contemporaneously available while all this was happening. Not that I'm excusing a guy who gets jammed up 9 times just flying under the radar every time. But let me suggest this. Somebody says that I was inappropriate. Somebody says that I made an off-color comment while we were on the elevator. And they go to Human Resources and they open an investigation. And Human Resources calls you in with the working relationship that you and I have and the conversations you and I have on and off the air. And you sit down and the new HR person says, ma'am, has he ever behaved in a way that has made you uncomfortable or made a comment to you that could be interpreted as unprofessional or harassing? Are you going to go, oh yeah, he says off-color stuff constantly while we're in the studio? Or is that part of your brain that balances against knowing that I'm not hitting on you or trying to bug you, go, yeah, no, he's fine.
Well,
he's got a big mouth. He says goofy stuff sometimes. 3 days later, the person who said that I said something horrible to them in the elevator is gone. They left. They went and they took another job.
Yeah.
Are you going to follow up on that and go to Human Resources and be like, so, hey, did Dirtbag get jammed up?
So in our situation, thank God that would just never happen because that would just be weird. But I also think that we are so out.
It might. It depends if Greg wears the right cargo shorts.
We are out. Have you seen his flip-flops? Some people like feet. But here's the part where I go, I get what you're saying, but you have a pattern of behavior here of crossing the line and pushing it out. A man in a position of power working over particularly younger women. And although it appears that there were some inappropriate comments that were also made towards non-straight folks, he kept moving up. And then he got let go with a letter of recommendation and a big fat paycheck.
Yeah.
You didn't want to see it. You didn't want to see it, which is sad because I believe that Castro did a great job and was awesome in that role of chancellor. But like, dude, you went for your homie, you went for your buddy, and like, I'm not paying it. And it hit the fan.
If you want to hear Dr. Castro's explanation of his side of the story, don't forget he did talk with Ray Appleton earlier today. That podcast available for your listening pleasure at KMJnow.com.
In Fresno on North Market, West Belmont, we got a hazard being reported there. Some police activity is still going on. Northbound 41 at eastbound 180 at the connector there. Madera, a couple of problems. Avenue 17 at Road 27. Got a hit and run non-injury accident. Also in Madera, northbound 99 at Avenue 12. Got a collision there. Los Banos on Henry Miller Road at Badger Flat Road. There is a non-injury accident. Next update, 4:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Thanks, Greg. Guys, don't forget $25K payoff is in play. A new national keyword went out a couple of minutes ago. For the 4 o'clock hour, that word is money, M-O-N-E-Y. Text it to 95819. You could win $100, and if you do, you're automatically in the running for $25,000. Get all those details at KMJnow.com. M-O-N-E-Y. Text it to 95819. Good luck.
KMJ. There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security. Together for just $69.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Or find out how to get up to a $650 prepaid card with a qualifying bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Requires enrollment in EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary, not an endorsement.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525. Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
Attention! If you've been classified as a high-risk driver due to DUI, DWI, or tickets for aggressive driving and are required to get expensive and hard-to-find SR22 auto insurance, then you must listen to this message because Serenity can help. We're the largest insurance company in the U.S., specializing in SR22 auto insurance and focused on serving the needs of customers classified by the state as high-risk drivers. We help people get back on their feet by providing easy-to-get, low-cost SR22 insurance that anyone can afford. If you need SR22 auto insurance, or if you have it now and are paying too much, you need to call us today for your free quote at 800-279-7816. Our specialists are standing by waiting for your call. We understand people make mistakes, and we're here to help by making SR22 insurance easy to get and affordable for everyone. The call and quote are free. Call us now at 800-279-7816. That's 800-279-7816. Again, 800-279-7816.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Okay, so what you're telling me is you know a group of guys who are converging on California from around the country.
Yes.
To attend a video game competition in the Bay Area. Was it League of Legends? Is that what you called it?
It's the world, they call it the World Championship League of Legends. And it moves around, and it's going to be in the Bay Area. They had all this great plan to go to it, except for the part where they didn't secure the tickets first because they're kids. I don't know. And apparently, Philip, this thing is sold out and they're selling on the secondary market for like $500 each to watch people play video games.
Where is this event? What's the venue this year?
It's in San Francisco. Look, I just typed in Worlds and it says League of Legends World Championship.
Okay.
But where is this going to be? It's September 29th through November 5th. Where's the basketball team play? I got to look it up. I'm trying to find it.
While you're doing that, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I think you can answer while you're Googling.
Yes.
This is a large venue. We're talking about like a professional sports venue that has sold out so that people can play video games.
Chase Center. You went to the Chase Center, didn't you?
Yeah, we saw Metallica there.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. There's going to be people down at the bottom playing video games.
And that's what these guys want to go do, is play video games.
No, they want to watch the teams from around the world play video games.
Couldn't they watch them on YouTube?
Well, you could, but this is the World Championships that's going to be happening, and you could be there in person. So it's like this is like the Super Bowl, but of video games for this particular kind of video game.
Okay.
Holy moly, I just looked up tickets, section 201, which is going to be the outer ring, right?
Yeah.
$828.
I don't believe you.
Look. And then that doesn't even count the $100 or what. This is StubHub, the $100 or whatever. Oh my goodness. Some of these are selling for $10,000.
So that's going to be like a ringside seat to watch somebody else play a video game.
These nerds, man. Wow.
So I think the lesson here is twofold.
Yes.
One, buy your tickets further in advance.
I know. That was the tough part, man. You got to buy your tickets early.
Two, if you want to be a part of nerdy stuff in the Bay Area, get a really, really good job.
Well, and that's so that's the real part of this, though.
Yeah.
Is that, we talk about we tease kids and we talk about kids playing video games, but adults play video games. They spend a lot of money, a lot of time.
Video gaming is a $1 billion industry.
It is a $1 billion industry. Fresno State has a team. We were just talking about Fresno State, right? They have an esports team.
Okay, close it.
No, what?
You're a university. You're supposed to be teaching people.
Well, but
how to go out and be captains of industry, not how to play video games.
But they also have a bowling team that won a national championship. So
bowling's a thing people actually do.
But lots of people play video games online, including folks in our age group. We just don't. But the point is, there is so much money to be made here, because the group that I'm talking about that was trying to get tickets, these are all kids that saved up their money to throw down $200 a piece at the time. Little do they know they can't even get in the parking lot for that. It's so cute. But I mean, we laugh, but man, there's money in online gaming, and not the gambling kind. This is wild.
So if there's anybody out there who's got a couple of tickets to Chase Center who wants to part with them for a bunch of teenagers who miscalculated terribly, send an email to drive@kmjnow.com.
The cheapest ones are $709.
There's no way.
So when people talk smack, and trust me, I do, there is big money behind this. And it's people that probably have jobs in tech and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. No, if you're dropping $10,000 to go watch a video game tournament, either it's a business expense for, in this case, the Saudis are now trying to acquire video game production companies, or you're one of these geeks that works for Google in a mid-level slot, and you've got enough money to buy a McLaren and $900 tickets to watch other people play video games.
Okay.
But not the sense to not do that.
Okay, but how many times have I bought games to go watch, or bought tickets to watch other people play a sport, or other people play instruments I can't play?
I understand. Naturally, I understand going to a concert. You're watching a performance. You're watching an artistic exhibition. Likewise, with especially professional sports, you are watching people at the top of their game do a thing. This is a video game. You're watching somebody control an avatar on a screen.
Yeah, but they do it for a lot of money. The announced prize money is going to be $2.25 million for this one. So no wonder the Saudis are getting into this, and we'll talk about that on the way after news.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Police reminding people to keep safety top of mind at the Big Fresno Fair. Law enforcement and local health authorities held a news conference Thursday to stress the importance of safety before the fair kicks off. Police say they'll have a presence at the fair using cameras and metal detectors as part of their security plan. Health officials say rides, exhibits, and other service of the fairgrounds will be sanitized every day. The Big Fresno Fair opens October the 5th. Dr. Joseph Castro, Fresno State's former president and CSU chancellor, responds to the report from the CSU Board of Trustees that he and Fresno State mishandled complaints against a former administrator. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
Dr. Joseph Castro issuing a statement saying he disagreed with several aspects of the CSU findings, how he dealt with sexual harassment and workplace misconduct claims against the former vice president of student affairs, Dr. Frank Lamas. Dr. Castro says he went by the book.
We must follow those policies just like you would in any organization. And then there are areas where the policy does not apply.
It may not have been the best choice in hindsight, Castro telling KMJ's Ray Appleton he should have taken the case to court and fought back.
If there's anything that will be good that comes out of this, Ray, because I am a religious person, I'm trying to figure out why this has all happened. It will be that our policies and our structures and our systems are going to be stronger in the CSU to support all women and men who face any kind of harassment.
Liz Kern, KMJ News.
3 buildings in central Fresno damaged after an early morning fire. It was reported at about 2 in the morning behind a home on Tyler and Fisher. Fresno Fire says that blaze began in the shed behind the home and spread to 2 other small buildings. The good news, nobody was hurt. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
If you're wondering when fall temperatures will get here, it's going to be a little bit. Temps are forecast for right around 90 through next weekend. Should finally see some 80s in Fresno after that. North Valley getting some upper 80s today, though. Afternoon high in Fresno is 91. Same for the South Valley. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thanks, Jim. In Madera, a couple of problems. First of all, on northbound 99 at Avenue 12, we have a report of a collision there. Another one on Avenue 7 at Road 27. This is a hit and run. Non-injury accident. Porterville Avenue 128 at Road 208. We have a non-injury accident reported there. Same thing at Henry Miller Road at Badger Flat Road in Los Banos. Another collision, non-injury. Next update, 447. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Hey, CG here. Coming up on the CGP on Saturday, Dr. Bill Maurice from Mayo Clinic and Ben Ross, Bay Area broadcaster and sports writer. It starts at 10 here on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California. And now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Recently, I had the dreaded COVID that I've been ducking for 2 years. The first time I've had it, and my God, it better be the only time because it was awful. As a patient of Dr. Boz at the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, he took care of me, and he took care of me very well. But something else is now upon us that most of us deal with in this valley. It's fall. It's the allergies. It's asthma. It's sinus problems. They're already here. And shall I add to all of this really good news? Yeah, right. Good news tongue-in-cheek. Flu season. It's upon us. Get a flu shot, please. Something I do religiously every year. And I haven't grown another head. No worries there. Hey, the symptoms are common, coughing, wheezing, tightness in the chest, headache, and fever. And when that happens, it's the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, and they're everywhere. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz is B-A-Z. You'll find the nearest location to you. Then you can stop suffering. The Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers will make that diagnosis. They'll get it right, and they'll give you the proper treatment right now.
And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. few see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero.
This Prep-Timber. Make sure your emergency plan includes clean, affordable solar power from Goal Zero. Goal Zero generators and home backup systems can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more. Learn more at goalzero.com.
It's the afternoon drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
It's a battle for free speech.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
It's 4:36 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Don't forget, in the 5 o'clock hour today, the return, the revenge of the Friday movie topic. I found something in the wild that is absolutely perfect for a one-time only return to the Friday movie topic. We'll get you your topic and get those phones loaded up here. 20 minutes or so. News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. That's Skip Echeverria. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride. We were just talking about an acquaintance, we shall say, that wanted to go attend the, what is it, the World Tournament?
They call it the Worlds. It's the World Championship Tournament for a video game called League of Legends,
Thank
which,
you.
according to some of my students, isn't even, from what I've heard, isn't even like one of the cooler games people play now. But the prize pot is $2.25 million for the team. These are world champion level teams.
Yeah.
And so they're all going to be converging in San Francisco.
That's the part that makes me take a step back, because it's easy to laugh at people playing video games. It's even easier to laugh at people who are entertained by watching other people play video games. Hi, everybody on Twitch. But there's serious coin in this. People, I mean, like I said, hi, everybody on Twitch. There's an entire platform dedicated to this as a pastime. And apparently the money is big enough at this point that the Saudis are looking to gaming as another investment opportunity. The Savvy Games Group is owned by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. They've announced their intention to invest over $30 billion in the video game industry as part of the country's initiative to diversify away from oil.
Yeah. So you break this down, we're looking at about 35, almost 36 billion in U.S. money that's going to be invested here, because they recognize that this is generating so much money across multiple platforms, because you're not just talking about world championship level play. You're also talking about all the amateur and all the recreational stuff too. And whereas, real life sports, you got to go out and do all of that stuff at fields at different levels or whatnot. Gaming, it's just on the computer, it's just on the internet, and it's just video games.
So the Saudi State's press agency says that the highlight of the investment package is about $12 billion earmarked for the acquisition of a existing leading game publisher, so as to integrate them as a development partner. Another $16 billion or so being set aside for minority stakes across the industry, with an eye specifically towards industry disruptors.
Well, so, and if this is interesting, if you take the step back and look at some of the Saudi investments recently, because obviously we know there's a lot of money in oil, right? But Saudi Arabia, its royal family is throwing ridiculous amounts of money at golfers, right? Like, it makes the PGA payouts look like child's play.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to win to get it. So you move to golf, you get that whole section. Now you move over here to video game industries. You're going to be able to tap into the athletes and people that are interested in esports in homes and then on these bigger levels like we're seeing. I mean, people are throwing down $800 to sit in the nosebleed seats at the Chase Center to watch other people play video games. This is a market that is eventually, if not already, going to outperform things like the NFL.
I don't think so.
Oh, I do.
No.
I absolutely think so.
No chance. Do I think that it will eventually carve out a niche where it continues to be extremely profitable, especially for the people who can draw an audience? Absolutely. Will it ever be competitive with something that the average 40-something human can immediately relate to and participate in? Because I can go out and play flag football with my buddies this weekend. I can sit down, I can watch the game on my TV or a game on the TV, depending upon who your team is. As far as getting into video games, I'm never going to buy a console, which means I'm never going to develop the dexterity to understand what's going on in the game, which means I'm never going to sit down and watch somebody else do this.
This isn't for you and I. You and I are too old for this. The eyes on this are on our kids who have grown up playing on phones, who have grown up playing on computers, who have grown up watching people streaming on YouTube and Twitch playing other games, right? And so this isn't a look towards us or even in the next 10 years, but think about the access, too, that this is going to offer. I'm interested if they're going to be developing games. Are these games going to be even allowed to be played in places like Saudi Arabia? Because those are some of the questions.
I don't think that that's the real point. I think the real point is to have the ability to, one, tamp down anything that could be perceived as anti-Saudi. The other is to just kind of quietly inject the highlights, the high points of that culture. I think that this is a generational end run around Saudi Arabia's human rights record, Saudi Arabia's misogyny problem, and even things like the implication that the Crown Prince ordered the assassination of a journalist. And you just creep in. It's not going to be tomorrow. And you're right. It's not for you and me. You and I are not going to be convinced because Mario and Luigi have a new friend named Muhammad in Mario Kart 2025. But to our kids, it starts this process of normalizing and integrating that makes them less likely to look at Prince Mohammed bin Salman with a skeptical eye.
TikTok. Isn't that exactly what we're seeing with...
That's China doing the same thing.
China's doing the same thing, and it's attaching more to a younger generation, but older folks have that stuff that's going to be on their phones and going to be something that they check out on a regular basis. And so you see it over there, and it's working with TikTok, which is a free app you don't pay for. People will throw down plenty of money for a video game if they're into it. And who knows, are they going to create the next big video game? I don't know, but there's a whole generation now that doesn't want physical things for the holidays, for instance. They want coins that they can use on Fortnite. Right? But it's true. It's true though.
Yeah, no, I know,
right?
I know that you are correct.
And so here you go. Go ahead. Give me that money. Give me that money. I'll develop games that are scientifically proven to have you get addicted. Because mind you, we just put gaming addiction into one of the not the DSM, but one of the criterias for something else, right? Or we're talking about, I can't remember what the code is, ICD. Anyway, we know that video games are addictive. You don't even have to give me, this isn't even about making soft drinks and junk food.
I'm not a fan of this. And the more that we unpack this, the more that I am convinced we are selling our children's hearts and minds to enemy nations and bad actors by buying them technology. The more that I see of this, the Saudis want to get into gaming. The Chinese are absolutely data harvesting hand over fist, minute after minute, day after day with TikTok. The more that I think that the best possible thing that I could do for my child is break their thumbs.
I mean, that might get you in some trouble, but maybe the unplugging would be good.
Just pulling away from this stuff.
Yeah, I do believe that there is something to that, because a couple decades from now, we're going to look back and we're going to see that we have primed our brains and our children's brains for addiction from an age way sooner than they can get their hands on weed.
Why can't we go back to the good addictions, alcohol, marijuana? I mean, that's like that stuff you just you remove the substance and the problem's solved.
Stop. You know what I mean? We just need to bring back like Duck Hunt. Like that needs to be the
Gambling.
level.
Teach your kids to play poker.
It's so funny enough. We'll let kids play video games and have their phones and all this stuff, social media that's been shown to be addictive. But if you teach your kid how to take like money from their friends playing blackjack, they're going to get in trouble at school.
Not if they don't get caught. Teach them dice.
Right? But like, Mr. Teresi, your kid's playing dice.
What's the problem?
It's a stigma towards the old school vices.
Was he doing it in class?
There may or may not have been a conversation I had to have in my household and say you cannot buy snacks at the dollar store and resell them at school.
Why?
Because you're going to get in trouble.
Are they factory sealed? What's the problem here? This sounds like capitalism to me.
A whole black market of snacks.
Good. I know which one did it, and good for him. All right. If you guys haven't been a part of the Friday movie topic before, this is something that we did on the Chris Daniels Show for years. It is a good way to ease into the weekend, and it's been gone for a while. But when we get back, we're going to explain the revenge of the Friday movie topic, a one-off, because I found a topic that was too good to pass up on. And so we'll explain how it works, as well as giving you your Friday movie topic questions when we get back. It's the Afternoon Drive on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy, get ready for the judgment day.
On the roads on this Friday afternoon, Madera, southbound 99 to Avenue 9 at the off-ramp there got a collision that they're still dealing with. Avenue 17 to Road 27 in Madera, a hit-and-run non-injury accident there. Los Banos, Henry Miller Road at Badger Flat Road, there's a non-injury accident that is working that area. And Porterville on Avenue 128 at Road 208, we got a non-injury accident. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
9 out of 10 people who died from COVID were 50 or older.
If you're 50 plus, get your updated COVID vaccine now.
It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
September is going to be insane! Tachi Palace is giving you even more chances to win with table game promotions all month long. Monday through Friday, every weekday, promos! Hot seats, blackjack, baccarat, and more! More promos means more winners, and more winners means more the Shrimpies! Ending my work week with more Shrimpies? That's promo insanity! Sorry. Too excited! Promotions all month long. See the Premier Club for details. Only at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
We're Saia LTL Freight. For nearly a century, our team has been committed to driving business forward. From Lady Liberty to the Golden Gate, Superstore to Corner Store. We go that extra mile, expanding our team to better serve you. So trust that when you partner with Saia, we take every delivery personally. Visit Saia.com for all your shipping needs. That's SAIA.com.
Okay, from the start.
The acerola cherries.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
We make Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Pineapple, sweet potato, papaya, parsley, pear, peach.
In a capsule or a powder, one daily dose of Texas superfood delivers the healthy benefits of 55. Count them, 55 fresh fruits and vegetables, and you can see them all on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
Thousands of people benefit from taking Texas Superfood every day. Shouldn't you be one of them? Doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and your grandmother all recommend that you eat more fruits and vegetables every day. So if you can't, won't, or don't, Texas Superfood is made for you.
TexasSuperfood.com. It's borderline shocking how much energy I have. I hope you use me for the TexasSuperfood.com.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily? Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses. Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
On about 5 o'clock, it's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. And for those of you joining us for the first time on Facebook Live, YouTube, and oh, that's right, the Twitter thing never worked itself out. We may or may not show up on Twitter as well. Howdy, good afternoon. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. If you're listening at KMJNow.com with your smart audio device at home, however you're joining us, or, on the radio, we're glad to have you here. Many, many moons ago, when the Afternoon Drive was the Chris Daniels Show, we had a feature called the Friday Movie Topic. And every Friday afternoon, usually a little earlier than this, we would give you guys a couple of questions. And those questions were designed to stimulate a little conversation, different ideas about film and entertainment. We're going to do that again today. It's the Revenge of the Friday Movie Topic, and the reason we're doing it is because I found a topic that is so naturally perfect that I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make it a Friday Movie Topic. Tom Hanks gave an interview about a week ago, while he was talking about a career that spans 80 films and 6 Oscar nominations. He was promoting some of his new projects. He said the following: "No one knows how a movie's made, though everyone thinks they do. I've made a ton of movies, and 4 of them are pretty good, I think." The interview goes on for miles. Tom Hanks never names the 4 movies that he thinks are pretty good. Tom Hanks has 80 films under his belt, and he thinks 4 of them are good. That is going to be question 1 in the Friday Movie Topic. What are Tom Hanks' 4 best films? You've got 80 movies to choose from. What are the 4 best films Tom Hanks ever made? 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. To get things started, we've got Skip Echeverria and Joshua Weekly in the studio to give their opinions, and we will start with the junior man in the room, Joshua. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Well, it's not bad. I'm curious. You thought about this, and you're a little bit younger than we are. What are Tom Hanks' 4 best movies?
So in my opinion, I would have to say 4th would be Big, and then we would go with Saving Private Ryan. And then I was a kid, so I always loved Toy Story, but I had to push that one back a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be Green Mile. I really liked how he was in Green Mile. Oh, man, I forgot. And then my all-time favorite Tom Hanks movie, and one of my favorite movies of all time, is Cloud Atlas.
Really? Now, that is not one I expected at all.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. Took me a few times to watch it and fully understand it, but yeah, I would have to say that's it.
And Skip, what about you? When you think about Tom Hanks, what are the 4 all-time great Tom Hanks movies?
Okay, so I really wanted to do Toy Story because I just love Disney, Pixar, and him as Woody. But I'm going to take that off my list.
You don't have to take it off your list.
But because I remembered another one.
He's not acting. He's only voice acting.
Yeah. But okay, so this is in no particular order.
Uh-huh.
Big. Big is fantastic.
It's incredibly
It's a classic.
popular.
Yes. And I will forever have a soft spot in my heart for eating corn, the little baby corns, the way he eats them at the big party.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right, so Big. Hooch. Was that Turner and Hooch? Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
Turner and Hooch, because that big old goofy dog.
Sure.
Right? Splash.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember Splash?
I know that it existed. What was it about? Remind me how
Splash
it
was
went.
with Daryl Hannah, and she was a mermaid. Eugene Levy was in it.
Oh,
John Candy.
Yeah. All right. I do remember that.
It was actually the first movie apparently released under Disney's Touchstone Pictures label.
Okay.
But I love that. And as like a young girl, like that whole thing, mermaids and stuff, was awesome. And I think my number one that he played was the coach in A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. That's the best line from Tom Hanks ever.
And that is the second part of the Friday movie, the Revenge of the Friday movie topic. What is, in your opinion, Tom Hanks' all-time best? It needs to be in his eulogy line. You can go back to Bosom Buddies. You can borrow something from Pinocchio. Is There's No Crying in Baseball Tom Hanks' greatest line, in your opinion?
Yes, it is. And I don't even really care about baseball, but it is so great. His delivery in that scene in A League of Their Own is just top notch.
And for you, Joshua, the B question, the second question today, the all-time use it in the eulogy Tom Hanks line for the ages.
Well, when I first thought of that this morning when I got your email, I instantly thought of Toy Story when Woody was screaming at Buzz, "You are a child's plaything."
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. But then I did some deep diving throughout the day and I went back to Cloud Atlas. So there's a character, and if you haven't seen Cloud Atlas, Tom Hanks plays about 9 different characters in that movie.
I had no idea.
And the movie is about how your soul bounces on from vessel to vessel throughout time.
Yeah.
And whatever you do in one life can impact your life in the next one. So this is my favorite quote. Fear, belief, love. Phenomena that determines the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue long after we perish.
That's deep.
There's no crying in baseball.
Blake is very happy with you right now.
Load up 490-5858, 800-776-5858. We are going to start screening your calls here in just a minute. Armstrong, I see you, dude. Hang on. The 4 best Tom Hanks films. He says he only made 4 good ones. He made 80 movies. What are Tom Hanks' 4 best films in your opinion? And the B question, what is the single greatest use it in the eulogy Tom Hanks line of all time? 490-5858, 800-776-5858. The Revenge of the Friday movie topic kicks off. Oh, and by the way, I have answers from Chris Daniel when we get back on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer after using such products as Johnson & Johnson baby powder and shower to shower. Recent media studies have shown that use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using these products, then you may be entitled to significant compensation. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.7 billion to 22 women whose ovarian cancer was linked to Johnson & Johnson's talcum-based products. Don't wait another day to see if you're eligible. Call us at 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Our network of attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time restrictions may apply. So call now. 800-801-3357. That's 800-801-3357. Again, 800-801-3357.
In Sacramento, a pattern of political corruption, scandals, pay-to-play schemes, and Rudy Salas is cashing in. Rudy Salas backed a plan to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon, costing us more every time we fill up the tank. Salas even voted against temporary gas tax relief for families. His reward? A lavish spring break trip from a group that supports higher gas prices. In another case, Salas took thousands from powerful drug companies and then voted to increase the cost of life-saving drugs cancer patients need. Salas even took a luxury vacation to China that was paid for by a group that promotes the Chinese Communist agenda. Corruption, scandal, pay to play. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Valadeo for Congress, authorized by David Valadeo.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chancey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream and Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chancey Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. A 72-year-old Arosai woman died after she was hit by a vehicle last night. CHP responded to the call at about 8:30 in the area of Avenue 416 and Road 125 in the Tulare County town of Arosai. When they arrived, they found the woman in the roadway suffering from major injuries. She was taken to Kauai Health Medical Center where she later died. CHP says the woman hit by an unknown white SUV and the unidentified male driver took off after hitting her. It's unknown if alcohol was a factor and the suspect remains outstanding. The investigation's ongoing. Governor Gavin Newsom's calling for a windfall tax on oil companies that will go directly back to California taxpayers. KMJ's Liz Curran explains.
Governor Gavin Newsom says greedy oil companies are fleecing Californians, raking in unprecedented profits, nearly $100 billion in the last 3 months alone. Speaking in a tweet.
Gas prices in California have increased by a record 84 cents per gallon in just over 1 week. That's a $2.50 difference compared to U.S. prices. It just doesn't add up. The degree of divergence from the national prices has never happened before. And oil companies, they provide no explanation. The fact is, they're ripping you off.
Newsom sent a letter to the California Air Resources Board Friday, directing it to make an early transition to winter blend gas. They responded, the change is expected to immediately increase oil supplies by 5 to 10% and drop gas prices. It could go down as much as a quarter. Also, millions of Californians will start to see $1,500 in their bank accounts from the inflation relief program announced in the budget. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A new law in California will create a program that aims to raise awareness about fentanyl overdoses. Fresno Assemblyman Jim Patterson introduced the bill that allows California regions to apply for grant funds to help educate and investigate fentanyl-related issues in their communities. School districts, public health departments, and law enforcement agencies from each of the northern, central, and southern regions of the state will be able to apply once state funding has been allocated. The cost of that upcoming holiday meal is going up this year, KMJ Ag Director Don York reports.
American Farm Bureau says families can expect to pay record high prices at the grocery store for turkey. That's because bird flu and inflation are driving up prices. American Farm Bureau Federation economists analyzed turkey and other food costs in their latest market report. The retail price for fresh, boneless, skinless turkey breast is at a record high of $6.70 per pound. That's 112% higher compared to a year ago. Overall, inflation is making the cost of all food higher by more than 11% compared to last year. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
If you're wondering when fall temperatures will get here, it's going to be a little bit. Temps are forecast for right around 90 through next weekend. Should finally see some 80s in Fresno after that. North Valley getting some upper 80s today, though. Afternoon high in Fresno is 91. Same for the South Valley. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. Porterville, Avenue 128 at Road 208. They're still dealing with a non-injury accident. Madera on Avenue 17 at Road 27. Got a hit-and-run, non-injury accident. Is being reported that a tow truck is finally on the scene. Got a little bit of backup on Highway 41 northbound by Children's Boulevard. That's kind of where everything kind of goes down to 2 lanes, and there is a backup at that location. Next update, 5:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
Silver. SILVER. Silver.
To 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
It's got a brand new name. It's got a brand new location. The place is so freaking big. Lou Rodman's Patio, Bar Stool, and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. Recently, I had the dreaded COVID that I've been ducking for 2 years. The first time I've had it, and my God, it better be the only time because it was awful. As a patient of Dr. Boz at the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, he took care of me. And he took care of me very well. But something else is now upon us that most of us deal with in this valley. It's fall. It's the allergies. It's asthma. It's sinus problems. They're already here. And shall I add to all of this really good news? Yeah, right. Good news tongue-in-cheek. Flu season. It's upon us. Get a flu shot, please. Something I do religiously every year. And I haven't grown another head. No worries there. Hey, the symptoms are common, coughing, wheezing, tightness in the chest, headache, and fever. And when that happens, it's the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, and they're everywhere. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz is B-A-Z. You'll find the nearest location to you. Then you can stop suffering. The Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers will make that diagnosis. They'll get it right, and they'll give you the proper treatment right now.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria. From AM Radio 580
to the internet, KMJNow.com.
From Warren G. Harding to
Let's Go Brandon.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip.
100 years of KMJ.
News, talk, radio.
5:09 at News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 4th hour of the Friday installment of your afternoon drive with the Revenge of the Friday movie topic, kicking off with your answers to those questions. We'll get back to it in just a minute. First, though, phones are open, and if you want to join in on the Friday movie topic, we've got room on the toll-free side at 1-800-776-5858. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon. Find the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live at Drive KMJ as I join Skip Echeverria back in the KMJ studios with your trending topics at 5 o'clock.
Oh, guess whose computer just completely crashed?
Well, gasoline
Why don't
prices,
you go ahead and start?
Gasoline prices in California jumped another 11 cents overnight, reaching an average of $6.29 a gallon. Today, according to AAA, the national average is $3.80 per gallon.
The Senate votes 72-25 to approve a short-term spending bill that will avert a partial government shutdown through mid-December. The bill, approved with some exceptions, keeps spending at federal agencies at current levels through the middle of December. The most notable of those exceptions is more than $12 billion that will be provided to aid Ukraine on top of the $50 billion already provided.
Proposition 26 would legalize sports betting at tribal casinos and California's 4 private horse racetracks. Prop 27 would legalize on-sports betting across the state and is being paid for by a handful of large gaming companies. The ads are described as oversimplified to the point of not being fully accurate, according to reporting from Cap Radio.
Despite questions of its appropriateness and vocal opposition, the Fresno City Council voted Thursday to foot the bill for, quote, voter education on 2 local ballot measures, M and C. The city will pay a consultant $450,000 to produce voter education materials for Measure M and $150,000 to an advertising firm to do the same for Measure C.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's wife and political activist Ginny Thomas repeated claims that the 2020 election was stolen when she testified to the January 6th Select Committee this week. The committee has been eager to talk with her about the dozens of text messages between her and former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, in which she urged him to fight the results of the election.
A 21-year-old man was arrested for selling THC vape pens to elementary school students, who then gave them to other students, according to Kingsburg police. He was arrested at his home and booked into county jail on felony drug sales. Also, misdemeanors including furnishing cannabis to a minor under 14, willful endangerment of a child, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
An investigation into the former president of California State University, Fresno's handling of misconduct claims against the former vice president of student affairs has been completed and describes Dr. Castro as having a, quote, blind spot about the former VP that negatively influenced his response to the objectionable behavior. Dr. Castro joined Ray Appleton earlier today on KMJ to discuss, and you can hear that podcast at kmjnow.com.
Saudi Arabia's Savvy Games Group, owned by the state's sovereign wealth fund, has announced its intention to invest $35 billion into the video game industry as part of the country's wider initiative to diversify its economy away from oil.
And that is your trending topics. At 5 o'clock for those stories and a lot more, get the podcast. You can subscribe with Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive or head to kmjnow.com, hit the podcast tab. Not only will you find all of our stuff, but you'll find content from the entire KMJ team. 5:13 now at KMJ. And I think it's time for the Friday movie topic.
Phone lines are blowing up right now. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. And I've also got some contributions coming in online, too.
And we will absolutely get to those, but phones are first always. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Last week, Tom Hanks gave an interview talking about one of his new projects. And while talking about a career that spans 4 decades and 80 films, Tom Hanks says that he has only made 4 pretty good movies. Question number 1 for today's Friday movie topic. What are those 4 movies? Tom Hanks doesn't say, in your opinion. What are the 4 best Tom Hanks movies of all time? And question number 2, what is the number 1 best use it in the eulogy line Tom Hanks is thought that's associated with Tom Hanks, whether it was from his film career or his television career? What's the clip that's going to make you think of Tom Hanks? What did you say yours was, Skip?
There's no crying in baseball.
It's a great answer. And by the way, for those of you who've been around for a while and remember when we did this on the Chris Daniels show, I have Chris Daniels' Friday movie topic answers. He emailed me in reply to my glee over having found this topic, but when I said phones first, I meant phones first. And that's going to start on the local side at 490-5858. We're going to talk to Ron first. Ron, what are your 4 greatest all-time Tom Hanks film titles, sir.
Oh, it's got to be Green Mile. It's got to be the number one movie, and then Forrest Gump. Then I'm going to say Toy Story, and then Big. And my favorite line of all that he ever did in his movies was in Green Mile when he was talking with his wife, and she was wanting to. And he said, but there's still something wrong with my waterworks. That's the greatest line.
Ron, I appreciate your call. I love the answers, and I agree that's and by the way, your list of movies is like on the money. You and I have 2 in common.
He started this out really well. He just the way the delivery. This is my first time.
So you've got 2 of mine, and I'll give my answers a little bit later, but I want to keep moving here because we got a lot of folks with a lot of different answers. And I see David on the line with a title that hasn't come up yet and one that I personally agree with. David, welcome to KMJ. What are your all-time 4 greatest Tom Hanks films, sir?
Good afternoon, Skip and Philip. I was going to mention the same as Ron. However, for the line, I would say a life is like a box of chocolates.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but actually, David, you have one listed here that Ron didn't mention. It co-starred a volleyball. Is that one of your favorites?
Castaway. You're right.
Okay, so what are your 4 favorites? Castaway, and then what are the other 3?
Castaway, Forrest Gump, Toy Story, and Green Mile.
All right.
David, great answers, and there's that life is like a box of chocolates.
Never know what you're going to get.
It's one of the most memorable lines out of one of the best movies he ever made. Josh, we got a couple of lines ringing, bud. One of the best lines out of one of the best movies. I think I have the answer for how the media is going to approach it. Not normal people, not that this is the string of words that's going to make you cry when you think of Tom Hanks. But I will tell you right now exactly how every announcement when Tom Hanks, unfortunately, is finally lost to us, hopefully many, many years from now. I know what the line's going to be.
What's it going to be?
Every damn one of them is going to start with, Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, that's actually one that Kim would agree with, too. That was her vote for the best quote from Apollo 13. Her list, You've Got Mail, Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, and A League of Their Own. We'll come back with Liz Kern and her tweet at us on the way.
Guys, if you want to get in on the Friday movie topic, phones are filling up fast. You can try 490-5858. I'll tell you right now, you're going to have more luck on the toll-free side right now. 800-776-5858. Your Revenge of the Friday movie topic. What are Tom Hanks' 4 greatest movies? And your alternate question, what is Tom Hanks' greatest line in television or on film? The Friday movie topic continues when we do on KMJ.
Northbound 41 at Friant, we got a situation where there's some people out walking around in the roadway. That is causing a hazard, so be real careful there. Also, northbound 41 at Shields, a cardboard box has been dropped in the fast lane. That is not a real good thing. Placer Avenue at West Sumner, there is a problem being reported there in the form of a semi that is blocking the roadway. Also in Visalia on northbound 99 at Sierra, got an issue in the roadway where there is a dog running in the roadway and people are pulling over to get the dog safely in their car. So be careful in that spot as well. Next update is at 5:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Hey, CG here. Coming up on the CGP on Saturday, Dr. Bill Maurice from Mayo Clinic and Ben Ross, Bay Area broadcaster and sports writer. It starts at 10 here on Newstalk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
After a long week at work, all I want is for someone to show me the green. Each Friday in September, Tachi Palace is giving 18 winners a chance to win up to $5,000 in cash. And on the final Friday of the month, they're doubling it with a grand prize of up to $10,000. Again, in cash. So don't begin your weekend blue when Tachi will show you the green. See Premier Club for details, only at Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-423-4161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-423-4161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-423-4161. What do you have to lose? Call 800-423-4161. Again, 800-423-4161.
Ad paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. Before we get back to a very busy set of phone calls, I just threw this away. You need to text the code word SILVER, SILVER, SILVER to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff, brought to you by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules, KMJNow.com.
If you missed that word, silver, SILVER, good luck. Friday movie topic, the revenge of the Friday movie topic. Tom Hanks gave an interview last week where he was talking about his career. The guy's got 80 films, 80, under his belt, plus all the stuff he's done in TV, and that's just in front of the camera. He says he only made 4 films that were pretty good, but he doesn't say what they are. So we're going to you at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Your Friday movie topic question: what are Tom Hanks' 4 greatest films? And your alternate or your B-roll question, bonus question, that's what it was. It's been a winner, okay. Tom Hanks' greatest line on film or television, 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Richard, I see you there, and I want to give him a chance to get his answer in there, but we're going to start with Marty this round. Marty, welcome to KMJ and the Friday movie topic. What in your opinion, are Tom Hanks' 4 best movies?
All right. Hi, Philip and Skip. Forrest Gump, Philadelphia, Saving Private Ryan, and Castaway.
Now, Marty, you've brought up all of those are movies that I have a lot of affection for. I want to ask you, though, honestly, Saving Private Ryan is an incredible film. Is it Tom Hanks' best movie, or is it Tom Hanks doing well, keeping up with the best ensemble film that he was ever in?
Well, I think it was more than just his participation in ensemble. It was the topic of the movie and then the cinematic, if that's the right word, direction of Spielberg.
Yeah.
So the overall combination of the film.
Everything. I mean, the visual look of it, the writing of it, everything about it contributed to the whole feeling of it. And in fact, it's from that movie that is my line that I want to contribute. As he's dying, I forget his character's name, but the last words he can barely utter out of his mouth, he says to Private Ryan, "Earn this."
That's right. And it was, I agree with you. Tom Hanks as Captain Miller.
Miller,
he's incredible. I think that the character in that movie, the one that the one that flipped the switch emotionally, Private Militia, Adam Goldberg.
Okay, I know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene with him and the German soldier, that just that turned me on my head, man. It was already kind of a emotional thing to watch, but that was the moment that I was beside myself.
Right. And that's why I think Earn This is so important, because all those characters, but especially the one you mentioned, went through so much. I mean, not all of them got through, and they were really confused along the way. Why are we doing all this for one person? And then when Private Ryan says, "I'm not leaving my platoon," and they said, "That's why we came for you.
Yeah.
You know, your two brothers are dead. We want to bring you home to your mom." No, she would understand why I'm staying. I thought it was incredible.
Marty, I think that you've given an outstanding answer, and I'm really glad that you called in for this. 490-5858, a line opening up for you guys now. As we jump down to the toll-free side, because I know this guy's going to have a good answer.
Yes, Richard, welcome to the show on the toll-free number. What are your favorite 4 Tom Hanks movies?
Okay, first off, I did this about 12, 15 years ago, and my answer got ridiculed off the phone, so hopefully I can redeem myself here. All right, so my first one that popped in my head was Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And then the whole Toy Story series.
Okay.
Forrest Gump, and The Money Pit.
Oh, see,
I knew it.
You know what? This is one of okay, Money Pit. Okay.
By the way, Richard, do you have an answer on the all-time great Tom Hanks quote?
Well, it's from The Money Pit, and it's the first thing that jumped in my mind. Is when the tub falls through the floor, and Walter just loses it with that laugh.
Okay, so it's just a laugh. It's not even
just a laugh.
No,
okay.
Money Pit's kind of a funny movie, and Tom Hanks, especially when he's doing those kind of rubbery, broad, family-friendly comedies, he's just goofy.
Just being silly, yeah.
That laugh, Richard, tell me if you think I'm wrong. That laugh when the tub goes through is the closest thing to Walter White under the subfloor flipping out that Tom Hanks ever does. He's just
totally
terrifying. For 5 seconds, you realize he might not be sane.
Right. He's gone.
Richard, fantastic answers. I don't know why we picked on you, but you have indeed redeemed yourself, sir. I appreciate you chiming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Lines opening up for you guys as we move through the phones. And do you have another one over there?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple coming in because we're now on Facebook Live. You can find us there. We have coming in from Thomas. We have Forrest Gump, Philadelphia, Turner and Hooch, and Saving Private Ryan. Mark checking in from over in Hawaii. Castaway, Joe versus the Volcano.
Oh, you would.
I mean, I guess because he's literally on islands made of volcanoes. A League of Their Own and Apollo 13.
Okay.
Scott, Apollo 13, The Green Mile, Forrest Gump, and A League of Their Own.
So I told you guys that I shared this with Chris Daniel, he being the creator of the Friday movie topic in its original form. And he responded to the question, the A-line question of Tom Hanks, did this interview, 80 films under his belt. He says, I think I made 4 pretty good ones. But he never says what they are. The answer is from Chris Daniel in no particular order. Charlie Wilson's War, The Road to Perdition, which is, I was a little surprised. I found that one tough to get through, but Chris is smarter than I am. He may have understood it better. Forrest Gump, of course. Castaway. And his honorable mention, not to be officially included, that thing you do, which Chris says specifically, meaning, of course, Liv Tyler.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno City Council's fired its top financial officer, City Controller Michael Lima, accused of mishandling the city's finances. The vote to remove Lima came at a special late-night session. Lima has held the position for 8 years. Assistant City Manager Ruthie Quinto will act as interim City Controller. The council also ordered an audit of the city's finances. It'll be completed within the next 60 days. New area code being assigned to the Central Valley. California Public Utilities Commission officials said new numbers in the region will have the area code 350 instead of 209. Officials said the change happening because variations of the first three numbers after the area code are running low. Those with 209 area codes will keep their numbers. The area code usually serves multiple counties, including Fresno, Madera, and Mariposa. A bill's been signed into law to fight the fentanyl crisis in the Central Valley and across the state. KMJ's Liz Kern has details.
Fresno Republican Assemblymember Jim Patterson has been pushing Assembly Bill 2365, legislation that funds programs and public service announcements about the dangers of fentanyl.
We want other counties facing the same devastation and death to learn from Fresno, and we want them to have the funds to replicate what we have done in Fresno because we believe that it is working.
The bill will fund 6 pilot projects across the state focused on reducing the fentanyl epidemic, including tracking down dealers after an overdose and providing awareness through billboard campaigns, PSAs at local movie theaters, radio ads, and TikTok videos. School districts, public health departments, and law enforcement agencies from the northern, central, and southern parts of California will be able to apply for the grant funds. 2 applications from each region will be selected. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
If you're wondering when fall temperatures will get here, it's going to be a little bit. Temps are forecast for right around 90 through next weekend. Should finally see some 80s in Fresno after that. North Valley getting some upper 80s today, though. Afternoon high in Fresno is 91. Same for the South Valley. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
In Goshen, this just popped in on the screen. Southbound 99 and Betty got a 9-injury accident there, but traffic is backed up on southbound 99. In Visalia on Road 172 at Millwood, got a non-injury accident. Some problems in Fresno include South Elm at East Mountain View, where there is an injury accident. Clinton and Goldenrod, non-injury accident there. And northbound 41 at Shields, heads up, some cardboard in the roadway. Next update, 547. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California. And now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Power Pill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call this if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 per pill. Call 800-204-0017 today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. Power Pill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-204-0017 to take your call now. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Super Start Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after a mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Super Start batteries. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Super Start batteries. We also have battery solutions for many hybrid and electric vehicles. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And paid for by Credit Saint. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements in their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call today and get your free no-strings-attached credit consultation. That's a $20 value absolutely free for calling in. So what are you waiting for? Call 800-368-4857. That's 800-368-4857. Start building your credit today. Call 800-368-4857. Again, 800-368-4857.
Real, honest conversation. News Talk 580, 1059, KMJ.
It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 1059, KMJ. Back for one-time only limited engagement. It's the Revenge of the Friday movie topic. Tom Hanks, in an interview last week, talking about his 80-film career, says, yeah, I think I made 4 pretty good movies. And he never says what he thinks those movies are. Tom Hanks only thinks he made 4 good movies, and we're not sure which ones he thinks that might be.
I think one of the things that he takes into account is how much fun or the enjoyment of the experience, too, in terms of being the actor, right?
But enjoying the process of creating a thing isn't indicative of the quality of the end product.
Right.
Because you can have a lot of fun and still end up with Joe versus the volcano.
I need to look that up. So phone lines have been super busy, though. We want to hear from you. This one just coming in as a one-off. Terminal, where the guy just lives in the airport.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to hear the argument behind it.
How about our boss checking in with what did he put? Bachelor party. End of discussion. I hadn't seen that one before.
Is that truly representative of the best of the works of Tom Hanks?
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
I could entertain an argument in that direction because Bachelor Party is really funny. 490-5858. And back to the phones we go. Jim, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon. Oh, Jim, you got to turn your radio down, bud. Mute your radio. I'm going to come back to you right now. We're going to jump over to Abe and let him have a turn while you mute your radio. Abe, welcome to KMJ. What are your 4 all-time greatest Tom Hanks movies, sir?
You know, Bachelor Party was a very funny movie, but not my top 4.
Okay.
I forgot about that one, man.
Right?
I'm going back to Big because it's a classic that even seemingly every generation is familiar with.
Yeah.
Apollo
13.
Light.
Okay.
Apollo 13 and Flight. My favorite is Castaway. Castaway because I don't think everybody understands how difficult playing that character is. Almost like a stand-up comedian who's up there having to perform by himself. You mentioned the ensemble of these other movies.
Yeah.
He did not have that for the vast majority of that movie. And that's a difficult gig, which he pulled off supremely.
And Abe,
very good.
Abe, I agree with you. That's exactly why it's at the top of my list, because it is all him. And the guy is so good, he gets a laugh out of the scenes where he's supposed to get a laugh. But when the volleyball floats away and he has that meltdown just screaming out for Wilson, he makes that as impactful and dramatic as anything on film right now.
You at first you look at that and you see the smile of Wilson and you think this is a goofy scene, and then when he starts yelling at it and screaming like he lost his best friend, you can feel it through the screen, man.
So maybe
it was absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you for the call. Great call. I think that it does speak to the true acting efforts of when somebody has to be on a screen by themselves, carrying the whole show. I'm surprised nobody has used that quote, Wilson.
Yeah, right.
As one of their favorite quotes, because that's the other question that we've been asking you. So far in the lead is Houston, we have a problem.
I chose that not because I think it is Tom Hanks' greatest line on film or television, but because I believe that they will, in fact, reference that if anything untoward or unfortunate were to happen to Mr. Hanks, which I hope Mr. Hanks leaves us a very, very long time from now. I hope he gets the kind of exit Betty White did, old and tired and in his own bed. Let's see if Jim figured out that you got to turn your radio off in order to be on the radio. Jim, are you there?
Jim waiting patiently.
All right, Jim, I'm going to let you go. Turn off your radio and call us back. 490-5858 and over here to line 4. Let's see what Carl's got. Welcome to KMJ, sir.
Okay, so best movies.
Yeah, the 4 best.
The first one that came to mind was Saving Private Ryan. Not because of his performance, but because of the movie and the subject and the manner in which he played Captain Miller.
Okay.
That first 10 minutes of that movie got me.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the movie was almost let down, but the emotion that movie got, put across to me sitting in front of that big screen, it was like, whoa.
Knocked it out of the park,
now, so that movie's because of the subject, and he did so doggone well with it. Now, the next 3 are because of his performances. Easily, my next 3 in order would be Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
He did so doggone bloody well with that character. And then Green Mile. I mean, he really did that one well. And then Castaway.
Solid choices.
My favorite line is, "It happens."
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. On Forrest Gump,
line?
It happens. Remember, he wipes his face and there's the mud and stuff. Thank you for the call. That's a great call there. And it brings us back to Green Mile, which we're talking about all of these other ones. And I forget that one was such a great movie, too. It doesn't surprise me that our audience does lean towards Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the material.
It's a particularly impactful movie. And Hanks was great in that. Like, I can't say he didn't do a good job. Do you know, have you looked at IMDb?
I mean, I've been all over the internet today, but what were you going to ask me?
Tom Hanks' first movie, 1980.
Oh, I have no idea.
He Knows You're Alone.
That sounds like a creepy movie.
A young bride-to-be is stalked by a serial killer on Staten Island.
Is he the bad guy? He can't be the bad guy. That's like when they tried to make Robin Williams the bad guy. You can't do that.
Robin Williams was a super effective bad guy.
No, but Tom Hanks. Why did I say Williams? Tom Hanks can't be the bad guy.
Oh, I think he can be.
No.
Yeah, that's why I like Chris's answer about Road to Perdition.
I never saw it. How about Andrew joining us right now? 490-5858. You have a good one to lead off your list. Tell us about it.
So my number one choice is Captain Phillips. What not a lot of people know about me is most of the movies I watch are based on real life events.
Okay.
And the way he portrayed Captain Phillips was super well, which brings me to my next film, because I was actually there when they filmed this at a certain place, Saving Mr. Banks. His portrayal of Walt Disney was probably one of the best of all time.
So I couldn't remember if he played Walt Disney or the guy from McDonald's. So I had to look it up. That was Michael Keaton earlier, by the way. When you've been in 80 movies. So, okay, so you were there too while they were filming it?
I was there at Disneyland when they were filming it.
Oh.
It was in January of 2013, I think.
That's so awesome. Did you cross paths with Tom Hanks?
I did not, sadly.
And Andrew, do you have an answer to the B question? What was the greatest all-time line?
Oh, if you watch Forrest Gump, the best line is, "Life is like a box of chocolates because you never know what you gonna get."
It's very, very true. They even have a whole restaurant, Bubba Gump's, because of that.
Oh,
by the way,
thank you.
Yes, speaking of cool Tom Hanks moments, though, because that made me think about it, like running into him in public. There's a great photo. I'll share it on our social media where this guy is like clearly drunk, passed out post clubbing dinner.
Oh, yes.
And Tom Hanks is just sitting next to him, like throwing up the finger guns.
Oh, yeah.
And the
No,
guy's
so
just
funny.
passed out. I'll make sure to share that.
I would never forgive myself.
Yeah.
Even blackout drunk, even if I don't actually remember it. If I get a chance to get a fist bump with Tom Hanks and I'm nose down on the table.
I found the whole string, and this is back from 2012. There's multiple photos. They just posed with this guy that was just, oh my gosh. He is one of the cool guys. You know what? No one said the movie where he played Mr. Rogers, Welcome to the Neighborhood. I need to watch that.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's one of his best.
Oh, I'm getting a thumbs down over here, so that's too bad.
Andrew, excellent call, my friend. Glad that you picked up the phone and took the time. Revenge of the Friday movie topic continues and concludes when we get back on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
In Sanger, it's eastbound 180 at Bethel, where they have a collision being reported there. Northbound 41 at Tulare, a non-injury accident just occurring on South Elm at Mountain View, minor injury accident at that location. Also in Goshen, southbound 99 at Betty, got a non-injury accident. And then finally on Road 172 at Millwood, they have a non-injury accident there. Tow trucks now on the scene. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chukchansi Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
This is Christina Musan. Solar Negotiators is a household name here in the Central Valley for residential installation. They've got great service, the very best pricing, and options no other company can offer. But did you know they help more than just homeowners? If you've considered solar for your small business or nonprofit, Solar Negotiators can likely save you up to 15% on installation costs. And their maintenance packages keep your business saving long into the future. How do I know this? My family's business, Gar Bennett, went through Solar Negotiators in 2015. Since the system was installed, their company has continued to provide outstanding service by performing inspections, panel cleaning, and active monitoring regularly. Invest in your businesses now and for the long term. Call Solar Negotiators, powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, at 844-OWN-SOLAR. That's 844-OWN-SOLAR. Or visit solarnegotiators.com.
CSLB 1021919.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's California area attorneys. 1455 Frazee Road, Suite 500, San Diego, California, 92108.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
And paid for by Sentinel Group. Attention parents of premature babies. If your child was born prematurely and was later diagnosed with severe intestinal injuries or necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Several studies have shown a link between cow's milk-based formula and serious intestinal injuries. If your baby was fed a cow's milk-based formula such as Similac, Enfamil, Gerber, or even store-branded cow's milk-based formula and suffered from severe intestinal injuries, call us today. NEC is a severe intestinal illness that often requires surgery and can be fatal 50% of the time. If your child was fed a cow's milk-based formula and later suffered serious intestinal injuries or NEC, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there is a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-784-3702. That's 800-784-3702. Again, 800-784-3702.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
It's the afternoon drive, getting ready to wrap it up here on KMJ. If you missed any part of the show, you can get the podcast at kmjnow.com. afterwards, and maybe also some video up there because we're back across multiple platforms now. That's Philip. I'm Skip, and we have been excitedly discussing the Revenge of the Friday movie topic with the best 4 movies from Tom Hanks. He recently did an interview where he he said he had 4 favorites that he liked doing out of the 80. Didn't give the names in that interview, but we've been talking about it.
And I got to skip the line here for a minute. I got to go to Josh on line 4 because he has an answer that I need to hear an explanation for. Josh, welcome to KMJ. What are your all-time great Tom Hanks movies, the top 4? And I need you to explain at least one of them.
I'm sure you do. So 3 typical ones: Saving Private Ryan, Green Mile, Castaway. But one I'd like to throw out there is actually Polar Express.
Why?
Having all those different characters. It's a staple in our household every year. We watch it. And I can see Tom Hanks just loving doing that movie to death and knowing that it's part of household every year and that he gets to do all these different characters.
Okay.
Except for the creepy elves and the, I think, what was it, Flea as the bassist. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, there was some weirdness, but I think you bring up that loving part of Tom Hanks where his movies can be that family friendly. Like a bunch of people said Toy Story. Polar Express makes sense, especially around the holidays.
I think that the book, The Polar Express, is one of the all-time great classic children's books. And the animation of the movie threw me. I love Tom Hanks, but the animation in the movie.
It got kind of weird. It got kind of weird, right? It was I don't know. It was too realistic.
It hit that uncanny valley button.
This one coming in from Lorna online real quick. Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, Castaway, and the new Elvis movie.
I'm glad that you brought Lorna up on that because we got Terry on the line. Terry, I don't know if your other 3 line up with Elvis, but I haven't seen it yet. Is that truly going to be remembered as one of Tom Hanks' great films?
Well, the character he played and the way he played it was absolutely off the charts. The movie, I just loved it. I didn't realize it was an Australian-made film.
Yeah.
But it was just off the charts, the beauty and the majesty of him in Vegas and the whole thing. And Tom Hanks, he plays this old, creepy old dude, and he does it so well. Makeup. It's not a pretty role for him.
It's not a glow up.
The Colonel. No, he plays, a creepy dude and a bad character. But there was also really good side. There was always a good side to him as well. I mean, if you can say the devil has two sides.
Okay.
Terry, that's a brilliant answer,
so
dude.
What were the other three, though?
Green Mile. I love that film. I watched it many years ago. Road to Perdition, just because I really connected with the characters, and of course, Saving Private Ryan.
Terry, way to bring it home, my friend. What was the top 4 based on your tallies of today's calls?
Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, Castaway, and Green Mile.
Excellent answers all across the board. And that's going to do it for us, my friends. Thank you for making the return to the Friday movie topic a lot of fun. Good way to wrap things up on a Friday. Thanks for your calls, your attention, your time. Thank you to Joshua Weekly for keeping the wheels on again this afternoon. We will be back Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The great one, Mark Levin, is going to roll up here in a couple of minutes after an update of headlines from the ABC Newsroom and a check-in with our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Yes, I do. I don't want to play. I just want to bang on the drum all day. When I get older.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive.